Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We're here again to break down your fantasy teams. You want to let us know how you did in the draft? We'll let you know how you did, and also answer those start-sit questions because we are now officially less than 24 hours from the start of the 2024 NFL season, and it feels really good to say that. A little odd still. I haven't wrapped my head around it being actual fantasy season and NFL season yet, but pretty soon it'll feel pretty good to actually watch some football that counts. So
Definitely
ready for that. I like that they have a very competitive game as the first one too. I mean, I don't know, could be any better than Chiefs and Ravens. I mean, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, no, you got to be excited for that rematch of the AFC Championship game a year ago. Two teams that you got to think are front runners to potentially be the Super Bowl champion this year. Let's hope it lives up to expectations, but it's just nice that football is back.
Football is back. We'll see if the Rashad Bateman hype lives up to to what we've been seeing. I don't know why. All over the timeline today, a lot of Rashad Bateman hype. We'll see. I don't know. But mainly what I've been seeing is about a guy who maybe won't play. I don't know. I mean, if there's really a storyline still, it's Jamar Chase. So he showed up to practice. Is what I saw. Did he actually like full out practice?
I believe he actually practiced today, yes.
But we're still not sure if he's going to play because he hasn't signed any sort of big contract. He wants to get paid, of course, wants to be the highest paid receiver, and he wants to be paid more than Justin Jefferson, even if it's just by 1 cent. Seems a little petty, but whatever. All right. We're getting down to the wire here, but the fact that he practiced, does this give you enough reassurance that you're like, okay, this is just a formality now. It's going to get done. He's not holding out. I'm just putting in my lineup. Or if you have Jamar Chase, which, look, I just drafted him, gets my gut feeling. Do you keep him on the bench until you know for sure that he is playing?
Well, I mean, we should know that, we should know if he's playing or not. I mean, unless you have somebody in the Thursday or Friday game, I mean, we should know. I feel pretty strongly that he's going to play. Like, if he was really going to hold out, why is he practicing? Like, why would he show up and practice today, right? This is the start of the actual, like, game week, right? This is it. This is the Wednesday practice before the game. This is, like, when it really matters. So, the fact that he went out there and practiced tells me he's playing. Like, I don't think he's going to have I don't think he's going to get a contract this year. I mean, maybe, but I still think he's going to play. And if Jamar Chase plays, I'm playing Jamar Chase. I'm not benching Jamar Chase if he plays.
Right. And that's the other question, which is a legitimate question. And thankfully, we don't have to worry about this with CeeDee Lamb anymore because he did get paid. But it's like, well, what if he just keeps missing practice? What if he's going to be maybe a little rusty, or, they don't have him out there for full complement of snaps in week 1? But the fact that he did practice at least definitely makes you feel better about that. If he plays, he's going to play. And of course, Jamar Chase, if he plays, you want to play him anyways. But especially this matchup, it's the Patriots. Yeah, I'm not scared of that.
No.
Did get a lot of T. Higgins questions yesterday. So, I mean, look, T. Higgins is still a strong start, even if Chase does play, whether he gets paid or not. Agree?
Oh, yeah. I still like T. Higgins this week, this year. I was always under the assumption that Jamar Chase was going to play this year. I wasn't hyping up T. Higgins because I thought Jamar Chase was going to miss the whole season. So, still like T. Higgins. Obviously, would like him more if Chase was out, but still got to feel good about T.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was, or hopefully was not, drafting T. Higgins just with the premise that maybe Chase wasn't playing or something like that. But now, yeah, I think if Chase for some reason doesn't play, that makes Higgins a borderline must start, but still a strong start. Another interesting thing with the Bengals, people asking about the running back, split there, what's going to happen, because they released their depth chart and, Zach Moss is the starter, all those Chase Brown picks are a waste. And then they came out and said today, I think it was Zach Taylor, or I heard something about, he basically said the depth chart doesn't really matter, which is true. I'm glad that came out, because what does it matter? Once the game starts, who cares who was the first guy out there? The second drive of the game could be a different running back. So Like as far as Moss and Brown, it's really hard to pick. I don't know how many people are really trusting either one of them as a starting running back in week one, but look, maybe you went anchor or zero RB. Do you feel good enough about either one right now?
I prefer not to with either one, but I think if I had to choose right now, I think I would choose Zach Moss. I do think he will be the guy getting the majority of the work early in the season here. But look, like you said, just because a guy is listed as a starter doesn't mean that he's a workhorse. Like, it just means, like, okay, even if he starts the game, all that means is he was out there for the first snap. Like, you know what I mean? We could still see a 50-50 split here. It doesn't matter. Like, people get so riled up about depth charts. Like, my goodness, really? I don't even look. I don't even care. But yeah. I do think this week they probably do have more trust in Zach Moss as far as, like, not worrying about, is he going to try to bounce a run to the outside instead of just picking up the yards we need, trusting him probably a little more in pass protection, things of that nature. So I do think this week we see more Moss than Chase Brown. But that doesn't mean as the season goes on, that can't change. And hopefully you didn't draft Chase Brown thinking you had like an RB1 from week one.
No, we talked up Chase Brown as a nice pick, a good sleeper, possible breakout. Never did we say this is a guy you have to start in your lineup every week, especially starting week one. So I do actually kind of like Moss better week one. Like you said, I feel like he'll get just a little bit more run, but this is a team that should definitely be ahead. I mean, they really should be ahead multiple scores on New England, which means I think they'll grind it out with Moss a little bit more. They won't need that big play upside from Chase Brown. So yeah, people getting all worked up about preseason depth charts. Let's back off. Kind of the same thing I feel like with Pollard and Spears in Tennessee. Like, they've come out and said they will both get touches. It's basically a timeshare. Maybe Pollard, is out there first. So what? Maybe it's 60-40. Big deal. But yeah, definitely some things to watch out for. Maybe the usage is different than we expect. It's always kind of aggravating, though, when you have a guy that you feel is better, and then that other running back just kind of swoops in and takes over their value, their touchdowns especially. So actually, that reminds me. So we are going to get to your questions, by the way, but Underdog has a cool new thing. We talk about Underdog because they're awesome, and we partner with them because it's the best place to play for best ball and also do the picks for NFL Pick'ems, which are live. And they've got a new thing. I told you, every day they're coming out with something new. Yesterday was the no sweat tokens. Well, now it's vulture protection. So I haven't seen any platform do something this creative. Vulture protection is exactly what it sounds like. So if you do your NFL Pick'ems and you pick a running back, one of their designated running backs, right? Not any old running back, but one of those main guys who you think could score a touchdown, and you go higher on that pick, if that running back gets vultured and you lose your pick because of that, they will actually refund that pick, that entry. And that's also, I think there's even an additional promotion that goes with it, something else like a special pick. So in other words, if I say Derrick Henry higher than 0.5, I think Derrick Henry's getting the end zone, which is a good chance he does. And then instead in comes, Justice Hill, and he gets a touchdown, I don't lose that pick. That's exactly what it means. Vulture protection. So check it out. It's really cool. Now, if you make 4 picks and they're all wrong, then it doesn't really matter if you get the vulture thing wrong. Like, you have to nail all the others. But if your running back gets vultured and you lose because of that pick, they will refund it. So it's definitely worth checking out. I know touchdowns are really hard to predict. It's not the best thing to always, use as a pick because it's really hard to project, but this makes it a lot easier to use that. And of course, if you're brand new to Underdog, if you haven't signed up yet, you still have time. This game is tomorrow. You get the free pick of Travis Kelce just getting 1 yard. So again, if you have not tried Underdog, I beg of you, do it now, because you can get this absolutely free pick to start out NFL Pick'ems. Travis Kelce going higher than 0.5 yards. You can also use that vulture protection, play around with what running back you think might score a touchdown, all sorts of other picks. Everything you can imagine is on there. So check it out, but make sure If you are signing up for the first time on Underdog, if you haven't created an account, make sure you use that code ENDGAME because that gets you all of these promotions I'm talking about, plus their deposit matches up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. So again, just go to Underdog, download it on the App Store, Google Play Store, use that promo code and try it out yourself. And of course, if you haven't already, draft season's pretty much over unless you're drafting right now or in 30 minutes. But DraftLane isn't just for drafting. It's also in season, your start sit questions, your waiver wire questions, your trade questions, so much more. It's all on there. So it's DraftLane. It's absolutely free to download. Go to the App Store or the Play Store and download it now. Everything that we're doing here on the live show, you can do on the app. It's just super easy and convenient. So check it out. But we do have questions that we're going to get to right now. And as always, super chats first. We will try to do some of the non-super chats, but again, I say that knowing that we barely can do all the super chats. So
yeah,
we'll do our best, guys. But let's start with the first one. It's TB12.
What's up, Tom Brady?
Apparently, I mean, he's got time now, right? Time on his hands. It's a 12-team half PPR 3-receiver league. Here it is. Stroud, Barkley, Achane, Wilson, Smith, Pickens, Kincaid, Worthy. On the bench is Moss, Polk, Goff, D-Rob, and Gibby.
Starting lineup is very good. I mean, Barkley and Achane with Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, George Pickens, Worthy in the flex. It looks like with Kincaid and Stroud, very good. And you still have Zach Moss, Polk. I mean, Goff on the bench. Okay, whatever. I guess fine. Demarcus Robinson, Gibson. I mean, I don't love the bench necessarily, but it's not terrible. And look, it's the bench, right? You're probably going to drop guys, add guys. It's going to be in motion. The bench is always in motion, or should be in motion quite a bit, unless you're in a really shallow league. Starting lineup's fantastic, though. So, I mean, for a 12-teamer, we've seen some 10-team leagues that have that kind of starting lineup. So, I'm going to say 8.75. Well done.
Yeah, exactly. Don't love the bench, but whatever. I mean, you'll probably drop those Patriots pretty soon for whoever's hot waiver wire pickup after week 1 or 2. And you probably won't need Goff, but whatever. You got some really good players in your starting lineup. I like all these picks. So I would say after you rid yourself of some Patriots on the bench, shed that dead weight, then you'll make it about a 9. Very strong team.
Yep.
And then Moises Gonzalez, Comanda, 8-team PPR start. Okay, so an 8-teamer, keep that in mind. Hurts, Henry, Mixon, St. Brown, AJB, and Debo. Okay, sit. I guess this is the bench. Got Rashee Rice, Mostert, Stevenson, Devontae, and Terry.
Wow.
These are the 8-team decisions. Okay, a flex, and he needs help on the RB2. Yeah, you want to start Derrick Henry for sure.
Yeah, I think you got to go Henry and Mixon. Man, you got Rashee Rice, Devonta Smith, Terry McLaurin as your flex options. Oh, the joys of an 8-teamer. I think I got it. I mean, you know what? I might go Rashee Rice this week. I do most weeks I might go Devonta Smith, but again, like that Packers secondary is pretty good. They're on the road. I mean, technically I don't know if they're supposed to be the home team, but whatever. Both these teams are on the road, let's be real. In a different country. No Hollywood. I might just go Rice, but I like a lot of weeks I'm going Devonta Smith in my flex.
You're going to struggle with this pretty much every week.
Yes.
I mean, exactly. I do like Debo. Keep Debo in there. I think that's fine. Obviously, I had him as a boom. I mean, I like Terry, but again, you run the risk of Jaden Daniels, not having a great first start of his NFL career. So I don't think you need to take that risk. Rice is probably the floor play here. Let's go Rice, yeah. And then I actually not, crazy about mixing draft season, but I do think you need to start him this week. It's a good matchup for him. He's going to get all the touches, I think, right now. So, yeah, even though I do like Stevenson and Mostert, I'm sticking with Mixon. All right. And then Dan Fuller's got a couple. Actually, yeah, I think they're different. Okay. So let's do the first one.
All
Dan,
right.
don't worry. You were nice and early. You were here. Is this right? 3 hours
Nope.
ago?
3 hours ago.
3 hours. Okay.
3
Dan, I
hours
hope
ago.
you're still on. Definitely early. All right, Dan. Here we go. This is the first one. It's a 12-teamer, full PPR. Quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a flex, and a tight end. Got Allen Gibbs, Javonte, Garrett, Nico Kincaid, Pickens, JSN, Chase Brown.
Okay, I was going to say.
And
Yeah. I assume we're rating the team here. So you got Garrett Wilson, Nico Collins, Pickens, JSN, Palmer. That's pretty solid at wide receiver for a 12-teamer. You got Gibbs, Javonte, Gus, Chase Brown, Corum. That's solid. I mean, this is a great team. You got Josh Allen, you got Kincaid. I mean, to be able to get an elite tight end and elite QB and still get these players is really good. So I think this is a 9 right here. I think this is a 9 for me. Maybe I'm feeling generous tonight, but this is a good team.
no, I think Dan just knows what he's doing. This is a good team. Yeah, for a second I saw Chase. I thought it was Jamar Chase. I was like, no, that's okay. But that's still a very good team. And I like all your bench players. These are all players I recommend drafting. So I'll give it a 9 also. And then what about this one? Still Dan. Different squad, Lamar and Henry and CMC and Flowers. Okay, we're Ravens heavy here. Devontae Smith, Ferg, Nico, Hollywood, Diami,
Wow. All right.
Dobbins, Dowdle, Pickens, Samuel, Spears, and Keaton on IR. This is the all Ravens squad.
Keaton on IR, huh? I mean, Henry CMC is fantastic. Devonta Smith, Flowers, Hollywood Brown, Pickens, Samuel, Diami Brown. First time I've seen Diami Brown drafted. That's not bad. It's not bad. You got Lamar. You got Ferguson. Dowdle on the bench. I mean, Dobbins, we'll see. Spears, Keaton. I don't have a lot of hope for Keaton this year. But, I mean, this is another really good team. I think the wide receivers here are just not quite as strong as that last one. But the running backs are slightly stronger. But it's PPR. 8.75. Still very good. It's another very good team.
Yeah, I will say I'm fine having 2 players, even at different positions from a team. This is a little too all in on Baltimore because if they have a down week, I mean, you're hurting big time, right? Lamar, Henry, and Flowers. It's a little too all in. Also have the former Raven in Dobbins. Notice that. And Hollywood, right? Another former Raven. This is like the all Baltimore team. But anyways, it's still very good though. So I give it like an 8.25. And then he did also put another one. I'm gonna stick with Dan. Really hope you're still on.
Right.
Kyler, Kenneth Walker, Najee, AJB, Garrett Wilson, Pitts, Cup, Rasheed, Spears, Jameson, Chuba, Wilson, Dowdle, Tracy, and Brooks.
Wow. Tyron Tracy. We had a Diami Brown and a Tyron Tracy pick here. Okay. Another really good team. I mean, these wide receivers much better. AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Cup is your 3rd, Rice is your 4th, Jameson is your 5th, Michael Wilson is your dice roll bench stash. You got Kenneth Walker. I mean, Najee, Spears, Chuba, Dowdle, Tracy, we'll see. I mean, Brooks. I mean, that'll get it done at running back, and you still got Kyler Murray. You got Pitts. Let's hope. Pitt's already a hamstring issue. Like, come on. Is it already done? Is it already over? Are we already done? Are we already out? Are we already out on Pitts?
I didn't even want to go there. Everyone's like, digging dirt, putting it on top of his grave. It's like, come on. He's fine. Anyways, I didn't want to go there with this. All right. Pitts is still a good tight end. I think this is still a pretty good team. I like it a little bit better than the last one, actually.
I like it better than the last one, but I still don't think I like it as a first one as much as a first one. I'm going to give it another 8.75, though. It's another very, very good team. Well done, Dan. 3 really good teams there. Three really good teams.
Very good teams here. And thank you. No, thank you, Dan. So let's also go back to Moises. He had a second one. So this is a 10-teamer. Gibbs, Jones, Hill, and Waddle. Flexing Neighbors, possibly. Other options would be Ford, Monty, Rice, Watson, Spears, Williams. Yes, you should be nervous about Daniel Jones, but if you're that nervous, you shouldn't have drafted Neighbors.
Right.
But I get it. So is it just the same thing? If you drafted Neighbors, then why aren't you starting him?
I mean, pretty much. If you want to start Rice, go ahead. I think Rice will be better than Neighbors this week. You don't have to sweat Daniel Jones because you get Patrick Mahomes instead, which is very nice. But yeah, you drafted I don't know. Did you draft a guy in the 3rd or 4th round, hoping for what he's gonna do like at the end of this? I mean, but even then, like this isn't like a guy coming off ACL and you're hoping he's healthy by the end of the year. If it's not Daniel Jones, it's Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito. Like, there's not hope here. The hope is that Daniel Jones is way better than what we think he is. That's the only hope here. It's the only hope here. So, because even Flacco can't come to the rescue because the Colts already have Flacco, so you don't even have that option, right? Yeah, probably just go Neighbors. But I mean, if it's me, I'm going Rice because I like Rice this week. But that's because I didn't draft Neighbors.
Right. Yeah, I get it. I think it's fine to wait since you have guys like Rice and Watson. I'm okay not flexing Neighbors this week. Maybe see what happens, see if he comes on and, and go all in. So I think Rice makes more sense, or just really go all out with Watson. I will say this, what I would love, which won't happen. Why don't the Giants trade for Jameis Winston? Then I would be 1,000% in on Malik Neighbors. But
for sure. I mean, look, maybe if Daniel Jones gets hurt, maybe they try to go do something like that, but
you can only wish. All right. And then we have Vascotino with a couple here. So let's start. This is the first one. It's a 10-teamer, pick 2, 2, and 1 flex. All Evans, right. Pittman, Puka, Ayuk, Waddle. Are you kidding?
Jeez.
Okay. Well, okay. Puka. Running back might be easier. Let's do Hall, Ford, Gus, Javonte, Moss, and Dowdle, and then we need a flex.
I'm going to Hall and Ford at running back. At wide receiver, I'm going to go Puka. Gosh, how do you not play Pittman? I think I'm going Puka, Evans, Waddle. Hard to have Pittman on the bench, but man, like Evans against Commanders, Waddle's healthy, Puka's healthy. Puka, Evans, Waddle, Hall, and Ford. You're going to have so many points on your bench.
Yeah, it's a 10-teamer, but that's still really super deep receiver core. Yeah, Hall, of course, no doubter. It's close. I might go Gus over Ford just because of the matchup, but that's a pretty close one. You got to start Evans. He's going to feast against Washington. You got to start Puka, and then I'll go Waddle as well. I think Ayuk is last on this list because of the whole matchup thing. Pittman's a good option, but let's go with the upside of Waddle. All right, and then the next one from Vascotino, 12-team, pick 2, Ford, Javonte, Ramondre.
I think Ford's the must here. I think I'll give Ramondre the slight edge here. It's very close between him and Javonte this week. I'll go Ford, Ramondre.
Yeah, Ramondre is the one I kind of feel has the highest floor, which, yeah, we don't always chase floor. But I like Ramondre this week. He'll get a lot of touches, and then I would go Ford here barely. All right, Dan is not done. Dan Fuller with another one.
All right,
14-teamer, full PPR, quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. Got Love, Pacheco, Monty, AJB, DK, Ingram, Waddle, Dobbins, Vidal, Dowdle, Odunze, Jalen Wright, Dobbs, Demarcus Robinson, and Hollywood Brown.
This is another very strong team. This is a 14-team league. You got Love and Ingram. You got A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Waddle. You got Hollywood coming back in like a week or two. Dobbs, Demarcus Robinson. You got Vidal, Dowdle. You got Odunze. You still got Love and Ingram. I think I said that already. Pacheco, Monty. I mean, okay. Monty is your RB2 is fine. You got Dowdle. I mean, certainly RB2 could be an issue, but if RB, especially 14-teamer, if RB2 is your issue, it's not a bad thing. This is another very good. I think for a 14-teamer, this is a 9. This is a really good team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you could see it as both good and bad. On your benches, you have a lot of risk but upside at running back, because if one of those guys, maybe two of them hit, yeah, you're going to go a long way. Vidal's a nice stash for 14-teamer. Dowdle, definitely worth taking. Jalen Wright. So I really like the way you drafted. You're going for those upside picks. That's really smart. No boring, safe veterans. All right. Mo also got in the super chat way before we went live. All right, Mo, here we go. Wide receiver, tight end, flex. Olave, Godwin. It's Njoku. And it looks like both whites, Z and R.
All right. I think you got to go. In PPR, I'm going Olave and Godwin. Even though I really do like Rachaad White this week. I think Rachaad White could have a big game. But it's PPR. Give me the wide receivers, Olave and Godwin. At tight end, right now I'm going Pitts. If he's limited all week, like if he's not getting a full practice in all week with this hamstring, I might just go Njoku, honestly. But right now I'm going Pitts.
Yeah, let's not panic here because, again, it's nothing that's keeping him out. He's not been ruled out or anything. He's moving around, they say. So I agree. Right now, let's keep Pitts in there. Not a great matchup for Njoku. And I know everyone's like, here we go again, but let's calm down. Let's wait. All right. And by the way, if you have Pitts as your tight end, you don't know where to pivot, just go Taysom. Juice, what's up? Juice, of course, needs Taysom. Remember, he was saying that he got sniped on Taysom. He said he tried to trade for him and got refused.
I mean, in what league outside of like deep super flex 2 QB leagues does anybody want Carr on their team? No offense, Juice, but I mean, I'm being real. Like the guy's being drafted as like the QB 27 or something like that. Like no team in fantasy should need Derek Carr.
Well, a Saints fan like Juice, maybe, but yeah, maybe try with a different offer. Let's wait till the week is over, though. All right,
yeah, maybe if Derek Carr has a big game this week, you can trade him.
Yeah, hey, crazier things have happened. Spearsy 76, 12 team. Got Caleb Williams, Kyron Williams, Zamir, St. Brown, Olave, Kincaid, DK, kicker in a defense. On the bench is Herbert Brown, Jamal, Brandon Cooks, looks like Deontay Johnson, and then Bowers.
The disrespect for Deontay Johnson listing him after all those guys. Kyron, Zamir White's good, very good. St. Brown, Olave, DK Metcalf is fantastic. Kincaid, Caleb is totally good. Like, I mean, Kincaid's great. Caleb, I think, will be just fine, even in a 12-teamer. Deontay on the bench. Jamal Williams, not a lot of that's. Look, we've had Diami Brown, Tyrone Tracy, and now our first Jamal Williams draft pick. Herbert, Chase Brown. Is that Khalil Herbert, I assume? I hope not Justin Herbert. Bowers. Definitely good. Starting lineup is very strong. Bench is okay. I mean, you got some guys I like Chase Brown, Cooks, Deontay Johnson. Bowers, I think, is great. You can get him as your, you can keep him on your bench. You don't have to worry about it. And if he starts going off as the season goes on, you don't have to ever worry about tight end, or maybe even a nice trade piece late in the season to get you like a high-end wide receiver or something. So I like that a lot. Definitely a strong squad for a 12-teamer. I'm going to say 8.75.
Yeah. And actually, I assume that is Justin Herbert because I think he listed him first. And he went quarterback, running back, like
could be right,
like most people do. And maybe he had Caleb, so he's like, let me take it back up. So, I mean, look, I'd rather have Justin Herbert than Khalil Herbert. But The bench isn't like, making me do backflips, but I do like that you have good receiver depth. I like Bowers is a smart stash there. The running back depth, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I've been talking up Zeus and I've been talking up Chase Brown. So, I think this is like an 8-5. It's a very good squad. Rusty Shackelford drafted last night. Or no, he said last draft. Who knows when it was? 10-teamer, half PPR, 2 running back, 2 receiver, tight end, and a flex. Got Mahomes, Saquon, Monty, Rico, Gus, Chuba, Amon-Ra, Nico, Rice, Higgins, Deontay, BTJ, and Ingram. How bad is it?
Saquon, Monty. I mean, running backs are. I mean, look, you got Saquon, so that's great. Monty, Rico, Gus, Chuba. It's okay. It's a 10-teamer. I'd probably like a little bit more my RB2 in a 10-teamer, but it's certainly not terrible. You got Amon-Ra, Nico, Rice, Higgins, Deontay. I mean, wide receivers are stacked. Your wide receivers are stacked. You got Ingram. You got Mahomes. Not bad at all. I mean, again, if RB2 is your weakness, especially in a 10-teamer where like they're gonna be running backs on the waiver. They're probably running backs I would like on the waiver wire right now that I'm like, oh, pick him up. I mean, you can't because you don't have anybody to drop, but you know what I mean? There's probably running backs. If I looked at your waiver wire, I'd be like, this guy shouldn't be on the waiver wire, but there they are. So it's not going to be hard to get an RB2. And Monty, Gus, Chuba, maybe even Rico can all be serviceable. So it's a 10-teamer, so it's not like completely stacked. So I can't go like, but it's still a very strong team. 8.5.
Yeah, not bad at all. And it's not full PPR, so I think that doesn't ding Monty as your RB2 quite as much, right? 'Cause, not a super heavy pass catching running back. Same thing with Gus. So yeah, I think it's pretty solid. Give it an 8.25.
I think we missed this one from Alex, which was
all right.
Which is almost 3.5 hours ago.
All right, Alex. Here we go.
Hopefully he's still here.
Yeah. Flexing either Najee, Singletary, Watson, or Worthy.
All right, I'm going to assume PPR. Doesn't say, but I'm going to assume PPR. If it's non-PPR, I may just go Najee or Singletary, but I'm going to assume PPR. I'm going Watson. I mean, look, Worthy. I like Worthy. Of course, he's got Mahomes, but Worthy also very risky this week, right? Like if he doesn't hit a long play, like he's probably not going to have a huge game week 1. He's probably not going to get a massive target share week 1, which is another reason why I really like Rice this week. So I'm just going to go with Watson. I called him a boom. I love that matchup. He's, as of 6:09 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday, he's healthy. Let's hope he's still that way by Sunday. But I'm rolling with Watson.
I'm rolling with Watson too. Again, assuming this is some sort of PPR. Yeah, I could see with Worthy, there's this noise that they're going to really make a concerted effort to get him on a deep ball. Well, of course, that's why they drafted him. But, Hollywood's not out there. They're going to try to see what he can do. Yeah, maybe he gets a long touchdown. But guess what? Christian Watson has gotten long touchdowns repeatedly in the NFL, and he will get a lot more targets than Xavier Worthy. I guarantee it. So I got to go Watson. And then Seth Swirsky. 12-team PPR. Here we go. Stroud, Henry, Achane, Jamar and Ayuk, and Kittle flexing Monty and Jaden Reed. Who is the third flex? We got Watson again, Thomas, Taysom, McConkey, Chase Brown, Keon, and Corum. I'm guessing this is Watson again.
Yeah, this is easily Watson. It's full PPR. Again, I'm not trusting a rookie wide receiver week 1 that's not named Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors. And I'm not trusting Malik Neighbors, but you guys who drafted him, you need to trust Malik Neighbors because you drafted him. Like, if you don't trust him, why'd you draft him? McConkey, yeah, I'm not. Keon Coleman, nah, just give me Watson.
Yeah, I would think out of those, it's definitely Watson. But now this actually begs a question about this lineup. This is a different question. Keith is in the house, as usual. He said he's got a bunch of Ayuk, but he's nervous this week. We are too. Of course, had missed some practice. Gonna get sauce on Monday night,
Yep.
and the really tough Jets defense. So his question is: would you flex any of these players this week in PPR? Ford, Gus, Chase Brown, JMO, Chuba, or Deontay?
Yeah, I was about to say no until I saw Deontay Johnson. Yeah, just give me Deontay Johnson. Give me Deontay Johnson.
Right. Yeah, Deontay Johnson should have a big week. Now, it's not a great matchup for Deontay Johnson, but he's going to get fed, and it's still a better matchup than Ayuk has. So I would definitely go Deontay. Looking back at Seth's, is there anybody? I mean, I could say, okay, let's swap out Watson for Ayuk, but then are you flexing Ayuk over all of those guys still? Is there anybody there who you would actually play over Ayuk?
No, I'm not. Again, I'd rather just play Ayuk than like a rookie wide receiver or Taysom or Chase Brown. So yeah, in this case, I'm going with Ayuk.
Yeah, no, it's tempting, especially like if you drafted Ladd or Brian Thomas, you probably drafted them in the mid rounds, startable territory. But do you really want to risk them in their very first game over Ayuk?
No,
probably not. I mean, I don't. And then I know we're still getting to the super chats, but never above putting out some shameless self-promotion here, because Briar Evans saying we helped him get back-to-back Super Bowls. So
well done. Let's go for the three-peat. Hey, like the Chiefs, going for that three-peat.
There you go. Exactly. Speaking of the Chiefs, got to pick before tomorrow. Worthy or London?
I'm definitely going London here again. I'm sure the Chiefs want to hit Worthy on a deep play. They may even hit Worthy on a deep play. But let's say Worthy has a 40-yard catch tomorrow, and then he gets like a few more targets. What is that really? Like 3 catches for 80 yards or something, right? Because he has that one long catch. Like 12 PPR points. Like Drake London's the number one in this Falcons offense with Cousins. He's going to get way more targets. Give me London.
Yeah, Worthy has flex upside. We'll admit it. London shouldn't be a flex. London should be more like a wide receiver one, really. So, yeah, it's got to be London. Paul Firebent with the super sticker. Thank you, Paul. 10-team PPR. Got Hurts, Pacheco, Jones, Lamb, Debo, Kincaid, Cup, Rice, BTJ, Javonte, Hubbard, Singletary, Goddard, and then Brooks.
All right, so we're rating this, I assume. Pacheco, Aaron Jones. That's pretty good. It's a 10-teamer. It's okay. Lamb, Debo. That's very good. Cup in the flex. Rice, Brian Thomas, Javonte, Chuba, Singletary, Goddard. I mean, the bench is good as it should be. You got an elite QB. You got an elite tight end, as you should, in a 10-teamer. So, again, RB2 a little weak, but Aaron Jones fine is your RB2 for however many weeks he's healthy. So, again, it's a 10-teamer. It's not like completely stacked, but it's very good. I'm going to say 8.5.
I think, for a 10-teamer, again, a lot of this will come down to Cup. See, you kind of have, honestly, a lot of injury risk in your lineup between Cup and then Debo and Aaron Jones, guys who've known to get banged up. So you do have Rice, and that's fine. So it feels a little risky, but of course you have a lot of potential reward. This is I think a good 8 for me. For a 10-teamer. All right, and then our guy Joe Castles. What is up, Joe? Which just reminded me, it's probably my turn in chess. Deontay, Brian Robinson, Brian Thomas Jr., Jameson Williams. We need 2 in a super flex.
You don't have a QB you can super flex, Joe?
Yeah, I don't know if this is in the super flex spot or whatever. I mean, I don't know. There's no quarterback, so I guess it doesn't matter, but I guess pick 2.
Well, Deontay Johnson for sure. And then, oh, man, I don't know.
Is this where I get to get to start saying, you got to trust Jameson Williams, go all in. It's JMO time.
If you want to do that, go for it. I don't know if I'm there yet. I guess Brian Robinson Jr. He'll get the touches.
I mean, look, Brian Robinson is fine. This week doesn't make me really want to start him. He's more like an RB3 type. Look, I'm in on Jameson Williams. He's the type of guy, like if I drafted him, it's because I believe I'm going to take a shot. Nothing but hype, Chris. Nothing but hype. You've got to believe the hype. If you don't believe the preseason hype, then what are we doing? His goal, he said it, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, he said his goal is to lead the NFL in receiving yards and touchdowns.
Hey, I always say dream big, but let's start with the goal of like actually being the number 2 target on your own team first. How about that?
Yeah, at least even 3, right? He's going to be behind Laporta.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a chance on Jameson Williams if I got him this week, if it's full PPR. If it's half or standard, yeah, I'd go Brian Robinson. You got to start Deontay. All right, and then I guess we'll just go with Sniffinator. JSB. Does that work for you, JSB?
JSB, let's do it. JSB.
All right. Well, we definitely appreciate the super chat, and he did say please and thank you. Let's rate this team. It's a 10-teamer, 2 QB league. Got Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Caleb Williams. All right, very good. Pacheco, Connor, Mostert, Moss, Debo, Amon-Ra, Higgins, Neighbors, Reed, Jameson Williams. There you go. Michael Wilson, Conklin, Browns and Jets a D.
You can never have too many defenses. I'm impressed. Like when I saw that you had Pacheco, Connor, Mostert, Moss, I'm like, his wide receivers are probably gonna suck. But you got Amon-Ra, Debo, Higgins, Neighbors is your wide receiver 4, Reed. You got 3 really good QBs. Like you got 3 bona fide like top 15 QBs. This is 8.75. This is really good, even for a 10-teamer.
Yeah, it's 10-team, but still you did a good job at QB. That's very important. Today I feel like the trend I'm noticing with almost all these teams, Pacheco RB1. Have you noticed that? A lot of Pacheco.
Yeah, it's my fault. Hopefully he doesn't pull a Tony Pollard this year.
Oh God. Let's not even put that on him. But it's good. The running back room is fine because your receiver room is stacked, beyond stacked. And it's funny because you have probably 2 of the top 5 defenses in the league, and I probably wouldn't want to start either one of them this week because they have terrible matchups. But maybe drop one and then switch over for this week. There's been people asking defense questions. Guys, wish we could get to all the non-super chats, but we're going to catch up to the super chats first. I mean, you can pick up like the Bengals. Someone's asking Bengals or Seattle. Both those defenses are good this week.
Probably, but I think I go Seattle over Cincy.
Either way, I think, I guess so, because Brissett probably won't throw too many interceptions. Bo Nix might.
And I just think Seattle's defense is better.
Yeah, this is a very good team. I give it like an 8.5. Very good. And then Cheekers say Devontae Adams to get Devontae Smith and Worthy.
I would take Devonta Smith. I would trade Adams just to get Devonta Smith. You're going to throw Worthy in too? Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, do this. Yeah, Worthy's not even necessary. I'm not down on Devontae Adams, but I'm big on Devontae Smith enough that I have him over him. And check out rankings, by the way. I mentioned DraftLane back at the beginning. Has the draft pilot if you happen to still be drafting tonight or tomorrow. It also has our rankings. You can still see our final preseason rankings. I don't even know if there's anything that needs to be tweaked. No, we're not moving Jamar Chase down. Not moving Kyle Pitts off the board, but you can check out our rankings.
Get Pitts off the board.
Done.
Undraftable.
He's down there with like Rondell Moore. I got Devontae Smith over Devontae Adams. So anyways, do it. This is a quick one. Chico 410. Does Shakir have number one upside?
I mean, it wouldn't shock me, but like if you mean number one as in like he's the number one target on the Bills, potentially. If you mean number one like he's a number one fantasy wide receiver, no.
Not even close. Maybe. Look, he might be the number one wide receiver on the Bills, but we know who the leading target's going to be. It's going to be Dalton Kincaid. All right. Big Dog Pound.
What's up?
Please rate this team. Lamar, Bijan, Cook. I really hope that's James Cook. Harrison, Pittman, Laporta, McLaurin, Rashee Rice, Hubbard, Chase Brown, Deontay Johnson, Freiermuth, Chiefs, and Koo. It doesn't say how deep this league is. Remember, guys, if you're putting a rate my team question, let us know if it's 8, 10, 12, 14, or what.
I'm going to have to assume a 10 team, though, because if you can, I'm guessing he started Bijan, Marvin Harrison Jr., probably Pittman in the third, then maybe Laporta in the fourth. You can't really do that in a 12 teamer. So plus he got Lamar. Like this team is stacked. So if it's a 12 team league, this is like a 9-5. This team is absolutely stacked. I mean, you got Bijan and James Cook, Marvin Harrison, Pittman, McLaurin, Rashee Rice, Laporta and Lamar Jackson with Chuba, Chase Brown, Deontay Johnson, Muth on the bench. Because why not? When you have the number one tight end, why not just go grab Freiermuth? Kicker in the defense. So I'm going to assume a 10-team league. Still pretty stacked even for a 10-teamer. 8.75. Well done.
Yeah, I almost can't imagine this being a 12-team league because if so, this is you're going to slaughter your competition. It would be like a 9-5. If it's a 10-teamer, it's still really good. It's like pretty much like a 9, I think. If it's an 8-teamer, which is possible, it's still pretty stacked because you really have no weaknesses. If it's an 8-teamer, though, it's like an 8.75, which is still really good. Of the people, it is go time again. Welcome back.
It is.
Need a flex. We got Coop, got Scary Terry, got Ramondre, Watson, who your boomer fully expects you to pick, Chuba, Sutton, and B-Rob.
You got some good choices. I mean, as much as I like Watson this week, I don't think I could start him over Cooper or Terry McLaurin. I mean, maybe I could start him over Terry McLaurin because McLaurin it is like, okay, what if Jaden Daniels just totally, poops the bed this week? But not Cooper. Cooper, I think, is too strong of a start. So I'm going Cooper.
Yeah, 3 really high upside receivers there. I mean, it's PPR. You got good receivers. There's no need to consider those running backs. And you don't have to risk Sutton. So, agree. McLaurin has the most risk. Cooper, a lot of people look and say that Dallas defense, don't forget that Dallas defense doesn't have their top corner from last year, Deron Bland.
Right.
And they don't have their defensive coordinator anymore, Dan Quinn. So we'll see. There could be some adjustment period here. I go Cooper at home. I think he has a big game.
Yep.
Brandon Warren drafted JD and Jared Goff to back him up. But who do you go with week 1? Just talked about JD. Just go with the sure thing in Goff.
I think so. Goff's at home against the against the Rams. That doesn't worry me. He always plays better at home. Just go with Goff. Look, if Daniels looks great and has a big game, okay, fine. Daniels every week, rest of the season, no questions asked. But this week, you don't need to risk it. Just go Goff.
Right. Exactly. There's no need to risk it. And sure, Goff isn't going to run in a touchdown most likely. He was very consistent and efficient for fantasy last year. You'd be surprised how highly he finished in fantasy as far as quarterbacks rank. Just go with Goff. It should be a high-scoring game, right? And by the way, I know some people have seen this stat with Goff. Sure, he doesn't scream league winner or upside, but you've seen this, how out of all the games they play, I think only 2 all season are not in a dome. It's like every single game, he's in a cozy dome. You don't have to worry about weather.
But the downside is the 2 games he's not in the dome are week 16 and 17 in Chicago, and and then on the road against that Niners defense. So he could be one of those guys that like, oh my gosh, you have to start Jared Goff every single week, and then week 16 he lays an egg and ends your season.
It's true. Like a lot of ways the schedule doesn't matter right now because what you think is a tough matchup isn't, and vice versa. Weather sometimes matters, sometimes doesn't. But there's certain things you can pretty much bank. You don't want to be playing in Chicago in December or Green Bay if you can help it, for a quarterback. And we brought this up a lot last year, mid-season with Tua. Was lighting it up, right? The Dolphins were the highest scoring offense. And then we could look at that schedule. It was a brutal 4-game stretch in November and then bleeding into December. And what happened? I mean, sadly, just weren't the same team, right? They had to play Buffalo twice. They had to play the Jets defense. It just
I think they had to play like New England in New England. It was like, yeah.
So you got to look at those. Those are more like tiebreaker things. I mean, I'm not going to say draft based on schedule, but those are just things to look at. All right, but let's look at Arturo Balderas Jr.'s 8-team league team. PPR, rate my team. AR, Walker, Cook, Hill, AJ Brown, Njoku, Evans, Gibbs was a keeper. Okay. Brian Thomas, Watson, Jason, Flowers. And then, so evaluate the squad and then this trade. He traded Murray and Harrison and Terry for AR and AJB.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. I mean, you got an upgrade at quarterback theoretically. I think Kyler could be better than Richardson, but Richardson's being drafted ahead of Kyler, and it's an 8-team league. You want the studs. AJ Brown was drafted ahead of those guys, so I think that's good for you. I mean, I think it's disrespectful that you put Gibbs after Walker and Cook, but it is what it is. But I mean, Walker, it's an 8-team league. You're stacked. You got Tyreek Hill and AJ Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. You got like 3 first-rounders. Maybe in an 8-team league, you got 2 first-rounders and an early second-rounder. But you got a Richardson, Evans, James Cook, Kenneth Walker. I mean, the only real area I see here where I'm like, that's just okay is Njoku at tight end for an 8-teamer. But, I mean, you're still stacked. Like JSN, Flowers just on your bench. No big deal. That's why it's so hard to rate these 8-team leagues. It's really good. But I'm gonna say 8-7-5 because there's probably a few other teams that are also ridiculously stacked. I'm guessing so. 8-7-5.
Yeah, I will say this. I'll get like an 8-5. I mean, the team, you really can't improve it anyway. It's good. I don't love the trade because going from Kyler to Richardson, you're getting a very similar type of player just with more risk. And then I think if it was like Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown instead of AJ Brown, then I would feel a little better about that trade as well. So it's fine, but I don't think it was like necessarily a big upgrade for your team, because of the players themselves. But I mean, you should be fine. You got plenty of talent. All right, Teddy. Jacoby Myers over Watson.
No.
Thoughts?
No. Thoughts. My thoughts are like, are you playing scared or are you trying to win? Like, I mean, that's legit my thoughts. Like if I'm making this decision, it's like, well, but we say this like as if Christian Watson is Gabe Davis. Like he either gets you nothing or has a big game, right? Like that's not Christian Watson. Not him at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's going to get targeted. He's going to be involved in the offense. He's still one of their best players. I'm going Watson 100 times out of 100 over Jacoby.
Yeah, the only issue with Watson is you just can't play him because he's not on the field half the time. If he's on the field and he's good to go, and supposedly he's been healthy all offseason somehow, why not play him? Yeah, and like he says, scared money don't make money.
That's right.
Michael Cazares, welcome back, Michael. What's up? 10-man league, got Kyler, Nico, Waddle, CMC, Pacheco, Kincaid, Smith. On the bench is really for Zamir, Ladd, Brian Thomas, and Corum. Drop any? No. Changes? I don't think so. Singletary, Spears, Garendo. Is Garendo even on the roster?
Yeah, he's at least going to be kick returner.
All right, and Benson on waivers.
Yeah, but I don't think I can drop. I mean, yeah, I don't think I can drop any of those guys for him. And I think I can't start any of those guys over who you have. Your lineup is set for sure.
Yeah, you're good. Kyler, Nico Waddle seems great lineup, 10-man league, but still, this to me it's like a 9. This is a really good team, and I like all your bench players. It's tempting to stash one of those running backs. But you already have so many good running backs on your bench, you don't need them. Like the upside is not any better. So, yeah, well done, Austin J. 12-team full PPR. Got CMC in K9. You're good. Got Flowers, Olave. So wants to know if you should trade these receivers.
I mean, I like Olave and Flowers. I'm not trading them just to trade them. Obviously, if you can trade somebody and get an upgrade somewhere, then go for it. But I don't know what you're gonna do to get an upgrade. Like, you're not gonna trade Flowers for a better wide receiver. You're not gonna trade. I mean, probably. You're not gonna trade Olave for a better wide receiver, probably. So I'm not sure, what you would do here. And like you said, you're good at running back. You got CMC and Walker, so it's not like you need to trade Flowers for a running back upgrade or trade Olave for a running back upgrade. So I like Olave and Flowers this year. You drafted them, so I assume you at least kind of like them. Or maybe you just heard us talk about him and you're like, well, Chris and Pierre like him, so it's good enough for me. Hopefully works. But I like Flowers and Olave. I'm just going to roll with them.
Yeah, I'm not sure the question, like, why would you trade them for what? I mean, just like, if you didn't like them, then you probably should have drafted somebody else. But like CMC, you probably got Olave round 2, Flowers round 3, Walker round 4. That's great. That's fine. I mean, I like those receivers. So, no, you're good. And then the teeny little super guy has a question.
Okay. All right.
Pick one. Flex. No. This is not a flex question. Come on. Flex? Jamar, Devontae Smith, or Waddle? Is this like a 4-man league?
I mean, you're flexing Jamar Chase if he plays. If for some reason he doesn't play, I probably go Waddle. I like that matchup a little better than Devonta Smith's matchup. And I like the dedication that you're going to come back at 1:30 a.m. and you can't hear this. We're like almost an hour into the stream, so that means it's going to be like 2:30 a.m. by the time you hear our answer. That is dedication. That is dedication.
I will say this. I'm going to answer your question with a question is, who are your wide receiver 1 and 2 and maybe 3 if these are your flex? I'm definitely curious, unless you made some really smart moves in a keeper league or something. But I mean, if Jamar Chase plays, you play him. If not, these guys, somebody asked this in the Discord, right? Devontae Smith or Waddle. Flip a coin. Both are good. I might slightly lean Waddle, but yeah. All right. And then we do have plenty more super chats. So if you did drop a super chat anytime in the last half hour, we're getting there. Stay with us. Not too far behind yet. I do want to give a quick shout out to James Biggs, who joins us a lot from overseas in England, where it's probably 1:30 or later in the morning there. Rate my team, 12-team super flex. Mahomes, Debo, Cooper, Godwin, Henry, Connor, Ferguson, Zamir, got flex, and then the super flex is Dak, and then a kicker.
Pretty good. I mean, 2 great quarterbacks. Debo, Cooper, Godwin, that's very good. Henry, Connor, Zamir White. This is a great team. It's a great team. 2 good quarterbacks, 3 really good wide receivers, 3 really good running backs, a kicker and a defense, a good tight end. This is a 9. Good job over there. Good job across the pond.
Yep. Very good. Solid top to bottom in this lineup. You got a really good second quarterback. That's key. So, yeah. And a very smart week 1 defensive play. And I like that he didn't probably draft that, or he drafted it late. Just a little bonus there. Okay. Derek Just. Welcome back, Derek. Russ or Bryce in the super flex? Well, this is a little different than having Dak there.
A little different. I think I'll go Russ this week, but it wouldn't surprise me if Bryce was better. But let's see it from Bryce first. Like, remember, Bryce was awful last year. So let me see Bryce look like, let me see, as much as I believe that Dave Canales will work his magic with Bryce, let me see it first. I'll take Russ, whatever he gives me. If Bryce is great this week, fantastic. You could put Bryce in next week. But this week, I'm just going to roll the Russ.
Yeah, I definitely feel Bryce. I mean, he can't really be worse, can he? He's going to be better, but is he really going to be significantly better right away in week one? Probably not, but also that New Orleans defense was actually really good against the pass last year, one of the top in terms of interceptions. They have a good pass rush. So it's not a good spot for him on the road there in New Orleans. Sure, Russ doesn't have the greatest upside, neither does Bryce. So let's just go Russ and hope he can hit on some big plays to George Pickens. Let's go now to Chinonso D. Starting Godwin. All right, but deciding between JSN, Watson, or Dell.
Well, you know who I pick. I'm picking Watson. I mean, we can't act like JSN isn't risky, even though I do like JSN. We can't act like Dell isn't risky with Diggs and Nico there. I'm just going to go Watson. I'm going Watson. This may be the only week. He may limp at the end of the fourth quarter. He may catch a pass and like grab his ankle, and we never get to start him again the rest of the season. So take advantage of it.
Well, there you go. At the very least, we know right now he's 100% or as close to 100% as he can be. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not go with Dell, but Watson, just go for that massive upside. Again, the thing is, everyone keeps saying, yeah, CJ Stroud's going to go off in week one. But that doesn't mean every one of his receivers will go off. One of them probably will. Maybe two of them. Maybe all three are just good, kind of good. So it's still kind of risky. So, yeah, just go Watson. And then Daniel Mosley, thank you. Pittman or Terry at the flex.
I got to go Pittman here. He's the clear. I mean, they're both the number one on their team, but Pittman's got Anthony Richardson. I know we've only seen him in a brief period, but what we saw was pretty good. Again, I like Terry this week, but I think in this case, I'm just going to go Pittman.
Pittman, well, look, if the Texans are going to light up the Colts defense like everybody thinks, you would think the Colts would have to pass a lot. Yeah, go Pittman. You don't have to risk JD having a bad debut, which I think makes the second one obvious. Dak or JD?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is closer than it should be just because Dak on the road against the Browns, but I'm still going Dak here.
Yeah, it's not a great week for Dak in terms of matchup, but I would still take him this week over JD at least. And then run CMC, aka Julio. Thoughts on Richardson and Deontay this year? He says, and Deontay this year, Thielen. I guess he's asking, is Deontay going to be this year's version of Thielen? I think is what he means. Yes,
but better, and they won't like erase him from the offense down the stretch when they realize, why are we doing this? So yes, he'll be this year's Thielen, but better, and he'll do it all year. And I mean, you got to like Anthony Richardson right now is like the Christian Watson of quarterbacks. Like, we've seen when this guy is healthy, he could be one of the best fantasy quarterbacks. As long as he stays healthy, he'll probably be one of the best fantasy quarterbacks. So you got to like him.
We have him. You can check out the rankings again on the DraftLane app. Got him as a top 8 quarterback. What is he? Maybe the QB6, something like that. I can't remember offhand. Yeah. You got to go all in. Maybe he gets hurt. Okay, fine. Maybe Kirk Cousins gets hurt. Yeah, we didn't see that coming last year. I mean, you'd never know, right? You can't just assume a guy's going to get hurt. Go for the upside. And Deontay, I think we've talked a lot about him this preseason. You know how we feel. That's why a lot of these teams have Deontay, so well done. Jason Rodriguez, this is a 14-teamer. Got Tua, Bijan, Mostert, Kupp, Waddle. Love the Dolphin influence here. Parkinson, guess is the starting tight end. That's a new one. Tank is the flex. Got Kirk, JMO on the bench, Jalen Wright on the bench, Gus, JK, Higbee on IR. All right, so we're banking on the Rams tight end. All right, well, the question here is, should you drop Gus or JK like to get Vidal?
I mean, I would probably drop JK to get Vidal, but whole JK and see, it looks like he's number 2 right now, whatever that means. So, I think he's going to be terrible. My thing is like, really, Higbee on the IR? Like, even if Higbee comes back, are you really going to ever play Higbee? Yeah. I mean, he's on the IR, whatever, I guess, but don't be afraid to drop Higbee out of IR if you need that spot at some point. But I mean, look, you got Gus and JK. I guess hold JK this week. See how it plays out. See if he looks halfway decent. See what happens.
Well, here's the thing I've been saying about Gus, and if y'all watched the RB Booms video, which you should have because it came out, 2 days ago, I really think Gus gets major run for sure this week and probably really the early season. Vidal is not going to be a factor early on unless something happens, hopefully not to JK or Gus. But yeah, there's no reason you need to stash Vidal, the RB3, in that offense when you already have the RB1 and RB2 in that same offense. So no, don't stash him yet. Hey, maybe Colby Parkinson is that guy this year. We'll see. And then we got Ricardo Andrade, 10-man, full PPR, quarterback, 2 running back, 2 receiver, a flex, and a tight end. How about this draft? It's a 10-teamer. CMC, Pacheco, Olave, Stroud, Andrews, Moore, Godwin.
DJ Moore in the 6th? DJ Moore in the 6th?
Must be DJ Moore. He dropped in a lot of leagues. See him going round 5, round 6. Stevenson, Javonte. This is a 10-teamer. Javonte, maybe Jalen Wright, Jaden Daniels, Shakir, Steelers, Houston.
So you got CMC, Pacheco, Stevenson, Javonte. I like that a lot. You got Olave, DJ Moore, Godwin, McLaurin. I mean, it's good. It's a 10-teamer. It's good. I certainly like those guys. You got Stroud. You got Andrews, so that's good. Your bench is pretty good. I'll say 8.5.
Yeah, I don't think you needed to take Stroud that early. Maybe people were taking quarterbacks early. It's fine. I would have preferred to take another receiver there and then take a quarterback in rounds 8 or whatever, but it's still good. I think it's a 8.25. Hambone, just saying, dudes, what is up?
What's up?
Mr. Miyagi, want to know, is Kimani Vidal a good sleeper? Yes, he is. But later. I'll get to Hambone. Hambone is losing faith. All right, fine. Cooper and Najee Harris are both fine. Cooper in the flex is a good one. Okay.
Yes, I would start Cooper and Najee. Yes.
Mason Leah, 12-man half PPR. Got Richardson, Jettis, Terry, Kyron, Cook, Kelsey, Kirk. Quarterback, receiver, running back, flex. Okay, what do you think? 12-man half.
I mean, that's really good. You got Jefferson, McLaurin. You got Kyron, James Cook, Kelsey at tight end, Richardson at QB. Kirk is your flex. Solid. 8.5.
Yeah, we don't know the bench, but just looking at your starting lineup, no issues here. Very, very high-end talent in every position. So, yeah, 8.5. Sounds about right. Xander O'Malley, Raheem or Ramondre, and why?
Raheem for the touchdown upside. Like, Ramondre probably has a higher floor because he'll catch 3-4 passes this week. But Raheem Mostert always has like 1 to 2 touchdown upside every week. I'm gonna chase that rather than just Ramondre getting whatever 60 yards and 3 or 4 catches or whatever he gets. So give me Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, I mean, this is a close call, so I can see why you're debating here. This really comes down to floor or ceiling, right? Ramondre should be able to get you several points because he's definitely going to be the main ball carrier. He'll catch some passes. He could score a touchdown, but they're in the jungle against a Cincinnati team. They're probably going to put up points against a lesser defense. You just got to be worried about that Patriots offense in general. Just what is the upside for a running back when they're probably going to be losing? They're going to be on the road. So Ramondre is fine, but more of a floor play. Raheem Mostert is still going to get touches. Just because everyone's all over Etienne doesn't mean Mostert just disappears. He's still probably going to be the lead running back, honestly, in that team. Got that huge upside. So you want to play it safe, I guess you go Ramondre, but we prefer to actually chase higher point totals. So go Mostert. Carl, what's up, Carl? Wants to know. Tight end sleeper, you go Fant, Sinat, or Greg Dulcich?
Do we drink the Fant Kool-Aid?
That might be a little early. Well, it's probably too early for all these guys.
Yeah, but if we're talking about a tight end sleeper, I might go Dulcich with Bo Nix. I mean, you gotta remember Fant. I know it's a new staff, new OC, but still competing with DK Metcalf, still competing with JSN, still competing with Tyler Lockett. I mean, Dulcich competing with Sutton and the running backs, basically. So I think I'll go Dulcich.
Dulcich is the guy I really want to believe in. I've talked him up last year just to be disappointed. I mean, it was injury, right? He missed basically all season because couldn't stay healthy. Maybe, but I need to see it first, right? I'm not gonna go all in on this. I think late season, Sinat might be a nice pickup, a nice add, but not yet. So I think if you want somebody you might be able to play like right here, right now, it has to be Fant. Dulcich probably has the best path to be a starting tight end in his offense, but I got to see it first. I get to see something first. And then long term, I think Sinat is the best one. I don't know if that actually answers your question or not. Let's go to Benny Black. What's up, Benny? Thoughts on this 14-teamer? Kyler, Mostert, Ford, AJB, Garrett Wilson, McBride, Evans, Bears, Dicker the kicker, Gus Bus, JMO, Dobbs, Dowdle, Wright, Vidal, Conklin.
All right, Mostert, Ford, Gus, Dowdle, Jalen Wright, Vidal. That's pretty good for a 14-teamer. I mean, you certainly went, I'm going to assume 0 RB. A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, yes, definitely. McBride with a Kyler stack. So, I mean, wide receivers are great. QB tight end is great. It's a 0 RB build. Wide receiver or running backs are going to look pretty scary right now. But for a 0 running back build, especially in a 14-team league, I think you did great here. So I'm going to say 8-5.
Very deep, definitely. Again, 14-teamer. I think it's smart, not essential, but smart to either go hero or 0 RB. And it looks like you basically win 0, so you've got some upside. I think, yeah, for a 14-teamer, again, I'm big on that Kyler McBride stack, so I got to get this like an 8-5. And then we got Cali Kid. Welcome back. Are you flexing in full PPR? Rice, Godwin, Mostert, or not Charbonnet?
Oh, Rice and Godwin very close for me. But I'm going to give the slight edge to Rice. He should be the clear number 1 tomorrow for the Chiefs. Again, Worthy making his first NFL start. Kelsey's Kelsey. No Hollywood. I really like Godwin, but I'm going to go Rice here.
Yeah, Rice does get the slight edge here. even though Godwin has the better matchup. Rice is definitely going to be the number one receiver. I know the Kelsey's there, but he's definitely going to be the number one receiver this week. Godwin is, what, I don't know, the 2, the 1B, however you want to call it.
Right.
All right. Give the edge to Rice. Andres Riborio. 12 team, full PPR. Got Love, Jacobs, Jones, Puka, Garrett Wilson, Waddle at the flex. Njoku on the bench is Flowers, Chase Brown, Taysom Hill, Shakir, and Shards. Rate and suggest.
I mean, it's a pretty good team. You got Puka and Garrett Wilson with Waddle at the flex and Njoku at tight end. Love at QB. That's all solid. Jacobs, Aaron Jones with Chase Brown, Charbonnet. You also have Flowers on the bench. Pretty good for a 12-team league. 8-5.
Yeah, for a 12-teamer. Again, love seeing the deep receiver core. Flowers on the bench is pretty nice. Fine with those running backs. Like Njoku. Maybe just because I'm not as sold on Jacobs, I'll go 8-2-5. And then, by the way, just real quick, and Ted was concerned. Teddy did not realize Teddy is actually Ted Metalhead. So
what's up?
People changing their handles here. And just a reminder, we did answer this, not going Jacoby over Watson. No. All right, next is Charles Berger. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it. All right, so 10-team PPR. Here is the return of parentheses. Very nice. That's the first one we've seen.
I like it.
Kyler, Derrick Henry, Walker, Gus, and Ford. Amon-Ra, Pittman, Devontae Smith, Godwin, and Neighbors. Wow, that's like I'm not drafting a lot of Neighbors, but to take him there, 63. Oh, and then the sentimental pick, Jameson Williams for me. Thank you, fan service. Hollywood. Okay, I know it's a 10-teamer. I'm giving this like a 9.5, honestly.
Yep, very good team. I think I'll just go at 9. As far as who to start, I don't know how many you start, but if you go 2-2-1, Henry and Walker, Amon-Ra, Pittman, Smith. Actually, I might go Godwin over Smith this week. Amon-Ra, Pittman, Godwin over Smith. Although, look, well, see, you don't have to start Neighbors. You got him at such a discount. You're like, that's cool. I don't feel like I have to start him.
Yeah, again, I know it's not a 12-teamer. This is insane. You got Godwin at the wide receiver 4, Neighbors as your 5th, Jameson Williams, and then Hollywood is like your 7th receiver. I mean, that's pretty insane. And you still have an elite running back in Henry and possibly another RB1 in Walker. I mean, not just saying this, Charles, just because of the whole fan service thing. Honestly, this team is going to roll a lot of opponents.
Definitely.
But sometimes fantasy football is pain.
Yes, it is.
Let's see. Just finished 12-teamer. Kyler, Henry, Jones, Ford, Algier, CD, Ayuk, Rice, Kirk, Hollywood, Dobbs, Leggett, and Laporta. How do you do?
I mean, again, like to be able to go in a 12-team draft and get Kyler and Laporta, still get Henry and Aaron Jones, still get CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk, Rashee Rice, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, with Ford on the bench. I mean, that's impressive. 8-7-5.
Yeah, I agree. Again, love the receiver room, and you got an elite tight end. Didn't need to, but you did. Yep, 8-7-5 sounds about right. And then we're still catching up on the super chats, guys. Hang with us. We're getting there. So if you did super chat in the last 30, 40 minutes, we'll get there. Let's do a quick here. I know this will be quick. Tron City, without looking at his team, can he win the championship? Yes or no?
Yes.
Of course you can, because technically anybody can right now. Let's get to the next super chat, which is John. 10 team, half PPR, Hurts, Pacheco, Monty, Singletary, Gus, Hill, Wilson, Adams, Devontae Smith, Rice, Kincaid. Would you make a deal? He says not crazy about Monty as the RB2, but would you make a deal?
Yeah, I mean, I talk about it in tomorrow's video. I would try to trade Adams for a guy like Kenneth Walker right now. I mean, we just saw somebody earlier was able to get Devonta Smith and Xavier Worthy for Adams. Like, people still really believe in Adams. But that being said, with your team here, Pacheco, Monty, Singletary, Gus it's fine at running back. Hill, Wilson, Adams, Devonta Smith, Rice is fantastic at wide receiver. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Kincaid and Hurts is great. So I still think it's a very good team, like an 8-5. But yeah, you got Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, Rashee Rice. You don't even need Devontae Adams, honestly. Like, try to trade Adams, see if you can get like a Kenneth Walker. You might even be able to get like a Walker and Etienne. You might even be able to get a Kyron right now because people are freaked out about this punt return thing, even though Blake Corum is listed as the kick returner. I haven't heard anybody freaking out about that.
This is true. Yeah, Adams is your third, fourth receiver. I mean, I know he pulled off all of those receivers that early, but yeah, that's a great idea. Trade him. All right, let's get next to. Sorry, going this way now. Actually, I got to look for this one because Tolu O said, rate the team in the comments, please. But I don't see the team in the comments just yet. So we'll scroll back. So Tolu, hang tight.
All right.
Let's do Humberto Juarez. Welcome back, Humberto. And then we got his third fantasy team. All right. 12 team PPR got Hurts, Walker, Zamir White, Mostert, Rico, Bucky Irving, Puka, Chase Pittman, Cooper, JSN, Williams, Kittle, and Schultz at the tight end. Got Chase in the third round. How do you like that?
Chase Brown? You got Jamar Chase in the third round?
I believe
people like, oh, he's not
Chase.
playing this year. He's not even going to play this year. Wow. I mean, that right there has to make this a 10. How do you get Jamar Chase in the third round? Walker's Zamir White, Mostert. Okay, that's solid. Not phenomenal, but it's solid. You also have Rico Bucky, but you got Puka, Chase, Pittman, Cooper, Smith. So I'm curious who you took. Who'd you take in the first two rounds? How come you don't have like
Puka?
And okay,
Hurts?
So literally, Chase is on the board, and you're like, I don't think so. I'm going to take Puka. And then Chase is on the board again, and you're like, I don't think so. I'm going to take Pittman. Did you go Pittman over Chase? And then finally in the third, you're like, okay, fine. I'll bite the bullet and take Chase, I guess. Like, is it how this happened? Like, how did this happen?
Well, I'm guessing maybe this is one of those leagues where quarterbacks went early and maybe he took Hurts in the second. That's probably what happened.
Man, that would be painful to hear that. Because, I mean, think about it. You could have had, like, Puka, Gibbs, Chase, or, I don't know, Puka, Marvin Harrison, Chase. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been insane. But that being said, this is still a very good team. Eight, 7-5.
It's crazy to think it could have been better. But it's still really good. Yeah, I think like 8.5. All right, let's go to Alexis Aguilar. Got offered Miles Sanders, which there's kind of laughable, and Ridley for Walker. Rejected and countered with Walker and Higgins for St. Brown. Is that fair?
I mean, yeah, give me St. Brown. But
all right. That's not insulting to the other owner. I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's fair-ish. I mean, if they really want Kenneth Walker, then yeah, but I mean, I doubt they're going to say yes. it's hard to part with your top 5 pick before the season's even started.
Well, also, if they're offering you guys like Miles Sanders, probably
Yeah,
not, willing to part with Amon-Ra St. Brown. But look,
no.
it is a fair offer. It's worth trying. He says his RBs are JK and Sanders. Like those are his starting running backs.
Those are his only running backs, J.K. Dobbins and Miles Sanders. Like, oh boy. Oh boy.
Well, then that would make sense for him, but also might not be the type of team that would make a trade that's reasonable like that. So go for it. It is fair. So see what happens. Steven Cotto, 10-man, rate this one. AR, CMC, Achan, Devontae Smith, Zay Flowers, Kincaid, DJ Moore, Caleb, Rome, Thomas, Watson, Gus, Mason, Houston D, and Jason Sanders.
All right. CMC Achan is fantastic. Smith, Flowers, DJ Moore, Romo Dunze, Brian Thomas, Watson it's good for a 10-teamer. I mean, certainly a lot of guys I like. You got an elite quarterback, you got an elite tight end. Like the bench is good. Wide receivers are just like good for a 10-teamer. Running backs are fantastic, so it's PPR. I'll give it an 8.
Tremendous upside at running back. Obviously, if HN goes off, you could have 2 of the top running backs in fantasy, or I should say the 2 top running backs, potentially. The receivers are still really good, but again, you're needing HN to go off. I mean, I like it. I don't love the bench, but I like some of the players. So I think like an 8. So you said 8 or 8.5? That's like an 8.
I said 8.
Yeah, I think it's like an 8. John Myers got a couple of questions. This one is also a 10-man. CJ, Gibbs, and Jacobs. Jefferson and London, McBride. Ayuk at the flex. On the bench is Javonte Brooks, Terry Deontay, J-Mo, and Chase Brown.
All right, Gibbs, Jacobs, good. Jefferson, London, very good. Ayuk as a flex is really good. You got McBride, you got CJ Stroud, you got Javonte, you got really good players on the bench. It doesn't feel like super stacked, but it feels super good. So I'm going to say 8.75.
Yeah, this one for a 10-teamer, I like much more. Can't go 9, so I think 8.75 is right. But he wants to know for this team. The next question is who do flex this week? Ayuk or Terry or Deontay?
Or Deontay. I'm going Deontay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll probably just go Deontay. I feel good enough about Deontay. I mean, I guess he's kind of risky too with Bryce Young, but either Deontay or Terry.
Yeah, he asked Ayuk or Terry, but I see Deontay on there. I feel just as good about Deontay. I think that's who I would start. Now, Antonio Araiza is in a quandary at our wide receiver 2. Pickens or Watson?
Well, they're both kind of like high upside guys. I mean, Pickens should be the number 1, but the number 1 for the Steelers and Russell Wilson. I'm just going to go Watson here. I'm fine if you want to go Pickens too. I don't think it's a big difference between the two, but I just really like Watson this week. I'm going Watson.
Agree. Watson. I mean, don't want to go like 1,000% in on Watson, but I mean, when you're comparing him to options like this, both very similar players, right? I love Pickens this year, but let's see what Watson can do. Fully healthy, supposedly. Abimanyu in PPR. Terry, Deontay, Mostert. Who's the wide receiver 3 and the flex?
Well, here I'll sit Mostert in PPR. I like Terry and Deontay Johnson enough. I mean, sure, Mostert could have one of those 2-touchdown games, and you're like, I should have played Mostert. But if he doesn't, you won't regret it. So Terry and Deontay.
Right. Any full PPR league, just go with those 2 receivers. both should have pretty good games. And then Antonio's got another one. Thoughts on this roster? All right. Stafford, CMC, Etienne, Devontae, Pickens, Watson, Pitts, and James Cook. Got Caleb on the bench. It's a 12-team PPR. Points per touch.
Well, that's a big difference, points per touch, because CMC and Etienne are going to touch the ball way more than Adams, Pickens, Watson, Pitts.
Right. If it's point per carry, that definitely sways things in favor of the running backs.
Point per touch, though, would mean like they still get a point when they catch it, but they also get a point when they run the ball, which is gonna just make running backs monsters, obviously. I mean, CMC, Etienne, James Cook in that format is great. Like in this format, I'm gonna want to have the best running backs in the league, hands down. Like and you probably have pretty close to that, I'm guessing, with CMC, Etienne, and James Cook. Adams, Pickens, Watson, fine. At least they got upside. Well, Watson and Pickens do. I don't know about Adams. Stafford, okay, whatever. You got Pitts. I think for this format, if I'm understanding you correctly, I think for this format, I really like your team because you have 3 running backs that are going to touch the ball a lot every single week. I mean, CMC alone is going to get you 20 points just from touches. Like just from touches, right. You're going to get 20 points every week, irrespective of what he does. So at least an 8.5. I'll say 8.5 because the wide receivers are just kind of okay. So 8.5.
I wonder if this, well, probably not. Really, this format just makes those bell cow backs so much more valuable. Against CMC, gives you a huge advantage alone. And Etienne will still get plenty of touches. Yeah, I think this is still a really good team. I mean, Pickens and Watson will be guys who are up and down. Pitts, hopefully, some ups along with the downs. But James Cook is actually a really smart pick in this format also, right? Because he's going to get a lot of carries and touches. So 8.5. It's good. Risky, but that's good. He says he also has Javonte and Jerome Ford on the bench. Good picks too.
Yep.
Yeah, and in this format, you almost always, I would think, want to flex one of those running backs who's getting touches.
Definitely.
All right, Derek, just going back to one of those previous ones here, said it was ugly choices, super flex, dynasty, his first dynasty, was going young, went too young, needed some veterans, got Fields.
It's fine. That's how dynasty is. You're not always going to have a stacked team year one.
Well, young is good. You don't want to go too young unless you're just doing one of those. I never really got into that though. I don't understand, like when you're doing a dynasty startup, and we know people, right? Someone who comes to mind who did nothing but draft, like just all rookies, and like I'm punting for the first 2 years. Like, why are you playing? Like, really? You're gonna build for the future? I mean, in 3 years ahead of time, and then just stack draft picks. It doesn't always work out because guess what? Yeah. Half the rookies, even the ones who you think are really good, they don't turn out to be really good. So, anyways, that's just my philosophy. Okay, remember Julio just saying thank you. All right, take advantage of the turn, like that draft strategy video.
Yes, good. Glad it helped.
All right, catching up on super chats here. If you have super chat, we're getting there. Hang tight. Phil Ciartino wants to know about Flowers or Deontay.
I think I got to give Flowers the edge here. I do like Deontay, but we're talking about both number one wide receivers in their offenses. I know. Well, I mean, Carolina's secondary wasn't terrible last year. I know the Chiefs have a good secondary. I mean, it may not be as good without Snead, but I think it'll still be good. But I think I'm going to trust the wide receiver catching passes from Lamar Jackson over the wide receiver catching passes from Bryce Young this week. So give me Flowers.
Yeah, there might be weeks where this is a really close one, but the fact that Deontay doesn't have an ideal matchup, I still like Deontay this week. I know you do too, but give Flowers the edge, right? Give Flowers the edge right now. And then didn't think we would have a kicker question. We got a kicker question, and it's from Juice. Juice 420. Are you going Will Lutz, who is in Denver now?
Okay. See, I see Will Lutz, I think Saints. I see Jason Myers, I think Seahawks.
I think Myers is still in the Seahawks. So this is the same game. Are you going with the Seahawks kicker in Seattle or the Denver kicker in Seattle?
You got to go with the Seattle kicker. The Denver kicker, I mean,
yeah.
Nah, go with the Seattle kicker.
Agree. Burn salad. How bad did I do? 12.5. Let's see. Goff, Zamir, Gibbs, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, Pittman, Jaime Fairbairn, Brock Purdy, Ty Chandler, Gus Edwards, Khalil Herbert, Zay Flowers, Jerry Jeudy.
I don't think you did bad at all. I mean, Gibbs, Zamir White, Gus Edwards, Chandler. You're fine at running back. Marvin Harrison, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, Zay Flowers. You're good at wide receiver. It's a 12-teamer. You got Goff and Purdy. Who's the tight end here? Do we see a tight end? I don't see a tight end. But I mean, one. I don't think you did bad at all here. You got a lot of good players. I think you're fine. I would give this like an 8, a solid 8 here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of bench picks I don't love. I mean, obviously, we're not really in on Jeudy and Chandler. I mean, I guess he's okay as a stash, but you don't even have Aaron Jones, so it's not like a handcuff situation here. Herbert, whatever. But the starting lineup is solid. I mean, Goff is startable. The receivers I think are fine. I'll go like a 7.75. And a 95, a new old member, old new one. Welcome back. Tyler Connor, welcome back as well. Lamar, Hill, Evans, Flowers, Pacheco, Cook, Connor, Ferg. Would you trade Connor Ridley for Kupp Najee?
Yes. Well, I said that really fast, but now I'm like, I mean, I prefer Connor over Najee. I still prefer Kupp over Ridley. Sorry. I don't know. This feels pretty fair, actually. Like, do I like... Who is wide receivers? Hill, Evans, Flowers. I mean, Connor is your RB3, but Ridley is your wide receiver 4. So if you go from Connor, now Najee is your RB3, Kupp is your wide receiver 4. I think you're better off with Connor and Ridley, looking at your team.
I mean, the only reason to do this is if you want to take a shot that Kupp is back, right? So you're taking on risk, taking on more risk. In other words, at your, 4th receiver position, I think that's fine. It's not a bad idea. Personally, I like Ridley this year. I think he'll be pretty good. I'm not really in on Kupp. So if you're asking me, I prefer the Connor Ridley side. But I can see why you might want to do this if you really believe in Kupp and you wanted Kupp. Okay, if you want to do this. Top Miami. All right. Pick 2. Kincaid, McBride, or Tank in full PPR.
Well, I got to go with the wide receiver. I'm not gonna start 2 tight ends. Not doing it. Even 2 good tight ends. So give me Tank, and then I think I'm gonna give McBride the slight edge this week. I like his matchup. I think he's gonna get peppered with targets from Kyler. I'm gonna go Tank and McBride.
The one I feel best about this week is McBride, and we've seen Buffalo, that interior defense, going to have a big hole with Matt Milano out. They're not really good against the tight end last year anyways. So, yeah, McBride could feast. But I do agree with Tank Dell for now over Kincaid. I think it's actually pretty close, though. But I'd go Tank and McBride. Antoine is back. Antoine Cruz.
What's up?
Offered Lamar for either Etienne or Walker.
No, I'm not trading a very high-end running back for a QB. No.
And I know Antoine has a a couple of teams. Last night he threw out like 3 different teams. So don't know who your running backs are, like what your situation is here, who your quarterback would be. But no, you don't need to do this. All right, let's get to Tris.
What's up?
All right, up. Just drafted my last league, 14 team. Love, AJB, Amari, Kyron, Rashad White, Muth, Kirk, Tua, Chase, Dobbins. I'm guessing that's Chase Brown. Chig,
Yeah, I hope so.
Demarcus Robinson, and a kicker and a defense.
All right. It's a 14-team league. AJ Brown, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk. It's pretty good at wide receiver for a 14-teamer, especially. Kyron Rashad White is great at running back. I mean, I think Muth is fine in the 14-teamer. Jordan Love is good in the 14-teamer. Plus, you got Tua there. Chase Dobbins, Chig, Judy. I mean, this is a very good team for a 14-teamer. I think a lot of people will probably be happy with this in a 12-teamer. 8.75. Well done, Tristram.
I want to know, though I do know because he did say the other day something about he is in a 10-teamer. But other than that, just play normal, like regular. It's like a 12-team PPR. No, it's always like I played a 16-man league with like 0.38 points per carry. And, I like that, though. I like that about you because you don't just go with the plain vanilla leagues. You challenge yourself. And if you play in any of his DOB, that's Disciples of Base leagues, it's not easy. It's a challenge. No. Trust me.
Yes,
so
definitely
hardcore, and that's what I like about it. Love AGB, Amari Kyron. I mean, this team is solid, and it's a 14-teamer. Yeah, I mean, I don't love all the bench players, Chig and Judy, whatever. That's fine. That's not a big deal. I think this is pretty good. I give it like an 8.5 for a 14-teamer. All right. Actually, you know what time it is? I think it's time to remind everybody who wasn't here at the very beginning that you still have time to take advantage of underdog specials, because maybe we do have a lot of new viewers on, I could tell. So welcome if you happen to be a first time or maybe second time viewer or just started watching this week. So a lot of our guys are on underdog already been there, done that, jumping best ball drafts with us, know all about this. If you don't know about underdog, well, you need to check it out. So again, download the app, go to the App Store, go to Google Play Store. And then when you do, if you sign up for the very first time on Underdog, you can get this as a new customer. This is a special pick, free pick, basically, because all Travis Kelce has to do is get 1 yard tomorrow night. If he gets 1 yard, you win this pick, and you combine that with any other pick, and you can go all the way up to, I don't even know now, 6, 7, 8 picks. They keep expanding it. They keep adding things. But you take this free pick and combine it with anything else, good chance to win your very first try doing NFL pick'ems on Underdog. And you can start out basically playing with house money, because if you sign up, make sure you use that code ENDGAME. If you use that when you sign up as the promo code, then you not only get that new customer special, but you also get this bonus cash deposit match all the way up to $1,000 on your very first deposit. So you don't have to go that high, but whatever you put in, you'll get bonus cash back, free money to play with, and then, of course, potentially win with, because you get that free pick, and they have so many other promos and specials. And don't forget, talked about this at the very beginning, maybe not everybody caught this, Vulture Protection. This is awesome that they have this. That's right. You go higher on a rushing touchdown for one of those main RB1 type players, the guys you know about, the Isaiah Pacheco's, the Derrick Henrys, the Devon Chans, and things like that. If they get vultured of a rushing touchdown, you get that pick back, basically. It's like insurance. So it's a really cool thing, but you can't wait to take advantage of this. It's not going to be around forever. So check it out now. Check out all of that stuff. All right. You know what? It also is time for, I'm just going to call it, it's time for an impromptu lightning round of free chats. So,
all right, let's do it.
We've been doing all the super chats. We're not too far behind, guys. If you did super chat the past 20 minutes, don't worry. We're almost there. We'll get to all our super chats, but let's do some of the non-super chats just so you know. That's how we roll. Saint Hazard. Not ridiculous, but Dell or worthy as a flex.
Not ridiculous, but give me Dell again. Guy making his first NFL start, like maybe he hits a long touchdown or something, but I'm just gonna go Dell.
Agree. Gonna go Dell. Again, Stroud could tear up that Colts defense this week, so not ridiculous. Gabriel Law, standard. Are you gonna flex Amari or McLaurin?
Definitely Amari. I think more. I feel better about Amari anyways, but more big play upside, more touchdown upside. Give me Amari.
Agree. Like them both. Amari, less risk. Okay, this is Mr. Streams. Is that right? Mr.
All right.
Streams. All right, Tua or Richardson, but you have Tyreek. Does that matter?
No, still go Richardson. I go with the QB. I think he's going to score the most points, and that's Richardson.
Yeah, like in a DFS kind of thing. Maybe you stack, but in redraft, just go with who's gets you the most points. That's what you're doing. All right, and then a trade question. See how quick we can get this one in. Fazolands. Should I trade CMC for DJ Moore and JT?
I think it's fair, but at the same time, just give me CMC.
You already have Saquon. Okay, who else do you have at receiver? It's so hard for CMC. You feel like you really need to get like a haul back, right? I mean,
Yes.
It's not unfair, but yeah, you gotta go CMC. All right, and this is actually Cerulean Dog did throw the super sticker out, so here's the team: Stroud, Gibbs, Jones, Marvin Harrison, CD, Laporta, Higgins, Ford, Muth, Mooney, Mostert, Odunze, Caleb. This is a 10 team PPR.
All right, Gibbs, Aaron Jones, Ford, Mostert, pretty good at running back. CD, Marvin Harrison, Higgins, Odunze, great at wide receiver. Got Laporta. I got Caleb Williams. Freiermuth at tight end is a little weak for me in a 10-teamer. But overall, it's a very solid squad. I'm going to say an 8.
Agree. I mean, CD Harrison, you got Laporta. I mean, I think Aaron Jones is fine as an RB2 in this format, but you do have a really good quarterback and tight end and deep at flex. I think the more I look at it, I think I'm good with this team. I actually might give it like 8.5. And then 95, renewed the membership. Of course, we remember you.
Yep.
12-team full PPR, 2 running back, 2 receiver flex. Got Brees, Zamir, Achane, Javante, Ford, Garrett Wilson, Kupp, Rice, London, and Brian Thomas. Also Kyler.
This is a 12-teamer. You got Brees, Achane, Zamir White, Javante, and Ford, and you got Garrett Wilson, Kupp, Rice, London, Brian Thomas with Kyler. This is great. This is a 9. Well done.
Yeah, and I'll say again, Kupp here is kind of a X factor. If he has, of course, he's not going to come close to replicating that season, right, from 3 years ago. But even if he's just what he was before then, get you 1,200 yards, maybe 10 touchdowns. Yeah, this team could be dominant. So this is like a 9. Antoine Cruz. We already did this.
No, we already said no to this. Yeah, don't do this.
All right, just make sure he's asking in the chat. Which, by the way, big shout, T. Resner, put in work again.
Nice.
Nick DeLucia, Tanker Deontay at the flex.
Again, I think you got to go Tank. I do like Deontay, but Tank's got Stroud. I'm going to go Tank.
This one's close, although this didn't say full or half. I don't think that makes a big difference. I'm going to kind of say the same thing that we did with the, Mostert Ramondre. I feel like Deontay's the safer floor. Who's got the higher upside? I think it's Tank. So probably chase the upside with Tank. All right, then we have Jonah Hamill. Hello. First time super chat. Well, welcome. We're definitely glad
Welcome.
you're here. Hopefully not the last
Yep.
time. Need to start one running back and one flex. All right, let's help Jonah out. Zamir, Ford, B-Rob, Deontay, Christian Watson.
All right, well, I'm going to assume PPR. And if that's the case, I'm going Zamir and Christian Watson. If it's non-PPR, I'm going Zamir and Ford.
Yeah, it does not say. Gonna assume some sort of PPR. One running back, one flex. Yeah, I mean, I'm on Zamir. I like Ford too, but I got to go Zamir at running back. I think whether it's standard PPR, I don't care. I like Zamir, and we've been saying Watson. Can't back down from Watson now. Julio Espinoza. Rate this team. 12-man, PPR, 2 running back, 2 receiver, 2 flex. Kyler, Ford, Walker, Sun God, Harrison, Pittman, Higgins, Javonte, Chase Brown, and it got Hawk and Brooks on the IR. Am I cooked?
No one is cooked yet. Walker, Ford, Javonte, Chase Brown. All right. It's okay at running back. It's certainly not bad. Sun God, Harrison, Pittman, Higgins is great at wide receiver. You got Kyler. Is Hawkinson your only tight end? Who am I missing? Is Hawkinson your only tight? You might be cooked if Hawkinson's your only tight end, because he's getting you 0 this week.
Yeah, well, you didn't list. I mean, you didn't list quarterback either. You have to start quarterback. I'm assuming you started tight end.
No, he has Kyler at quarterback.
Yeah, but I'm assuming he needs a tight end. He didn't stash Hawk like to flex later in the season or something. You know what I mean?
I sure hope not.
Yeah, I hope not.
But no, you're definitely not cooked. I mean, your running backs are solid. Your wide receivers are fantastic. You got an elite QB. You're far from cooked. Nah, you're solid. You're solid.
And you might look and say, well, I don't really have a number 1 running back. Really think Walker could be a top 10 running back, even in PPR. Ford, again, solid. Maybe not the highest end of running back 2s, but your receivers will make up for it. So don't know the tight end issue. It's fine. It's like an 8.25. Far from cooked. General question here, because Matthew Ryan said this is his first time doing a fantasy draft. Does the draft grade mean anything in Yahoo?
Yes. If you get a really good draft grade, assume your draft was terrible. If you get a really bad draft grade, assume it was great.
It means very little, but it all pretty much goes down the toilet as soon as the season starts, because it doesn't matter. Everything we think we know, most of it will change. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So don't worry about that. And also, somebody, I can't remember where it was, maybe in the Discord, somebody was like, oh, well, or maybe it was last night in the chat. They're like, oh, well, my league mates, were saying that was a bad pick. Well, what do they know? I mean, come on.
Right?
You don't assume that they're right, and don't worry about that. Like you probably know just as much, if not more, because you're watching us. So, and Julio does say he does have a tight end. It's Andrews. So
yeah, you're definitely not cooked then. What to expect from Jonathan Brooks? Gonna miss probably at least 4 weeks, maybe more, and then probably be eased back in. So he's a late season. Hopefully he'll be rounding into form.
Definitely worth stashing. I mean, Hawkinson, if he just occupies an IR spot you don't need, that's fine. But Brooks is a very good stash. WRM, welcome. PPR, I got Wilson, Pitts, London, and Kamara. This looks like a very spicy trade offer. Would you trade those for Chase, Cup, and James Cook?
Is that Garrett Wilson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Kamara for Jamar Chase, Cup, and James Cook?
It looks like it. Okay. So 2 high-end receivers, tight end. You're not getting a tight end back, whatever. Kamara to get Chase, Cup, and Cook.
Man. Oh, geez. This really comes down to what do you think about Wilson, London, and Cup?
Yeah. I mean, I know I would prefer, you do too, prefer Cook over Kamara.
Yes, definitely.
I would feel a lot better having that Wilson London duo than Cup. I mean, you get Chase too, but yeah, exactly. This comes down to what do you think of Cup? Man, this is a really interesting one.
Yeah, and I'm going to assume you have another very good tight end, so you don't need Pitt. Yes, man. I think, geez. I think I go to Chase Cup Cook side, honestly.
My gut's telling me go with those young receivers on the left and not take on that injury risk with Cup and with Chase, to be honest. Even though I do like Cook better than Kamara.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the other side. Just because I feel a little more secure. Like, I know, like, now that Chase is back at practice, I feel secure about that. I definitely prefer James Cook to Kamara, big time. I mean, I still think Cup will be fine this year. I don't think Cup is dust. I think I'm going to go the Chase Cup Cook side, but man, this is tough. This is really tough.
Well, it might make a difference too if Kamara is your RB2 and you're swapping out Cook. That's an upgrade. If Kamara happens to be your third running back, which I doubt, that Cook would just be your third running back, that might change things. I don't know. I think I slightly lean towards the left because I feel like Chase and Wilson is going to be pretty comparable. I prefer London to Cup. And yeah, I prefer Cook, but I just feel like the other side is, I got 2 injuries waiting to happen. I don't like that feeling. Okay. And then you get Pitts. Look, what if Pitts is finally that guy? Like, he's not nothing here. He's not just a throw-in. So
no, for sure.
But this is really close. All right, but let's move on to Gabriel Law. 16-team standard.
All right.
A-Rod.
Fantasy football is pain.
Yeah. All right, so got A-Rod at QB, got CMC, Kamara, Waddle, Olave, Parkinson. Got some believers there. McLaurin on the bench is Cooper. Unfortunately, Dalvin Cook. Does the penalty not count if it's a 16-teamer?
Yeah, we'll let it slide in a 16-teamer. Right. You got to take who you can there.
Mason Vidal, Douglas, Brian Thomas. Need a better tight end. Okay. You acknowledge that, but would you trade for
Brazil? Are you going to the game? Are you going to the game on Friday?
That's a good question.
I say that as if Brazil is like,
yeah.
Everybody must live close to the stadium, right?
Down the street.
It's like I live in California. Oh, do you go to Disneyland a lot? Like, oh no, I live in Northern California. It's like 8 hours away. As far as needing a better tight end, that's not what I think you need. This is by standard, I assume you mean non-PPR.
Yeah, that's what I assume.
So I look at this and I don't think you need a better tight end. Like in non-PPR tight end, whatever. Like tight end is so far off my radar that I don't even care. Like just give me somebody and hope he scores. Right? You just hope it's literally like every single touchdown, pretty much every single tight end in the standard is pretty much a touchdown and bust. So whatever. Parkinson can score just as easily as any other tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like, Waddle, Olave, McLaurin, that's Cooper. Those are great wide receivers if it's PPR. But in non-PPR, I'd rather feel better about my running backs. Kamara also takes a hit in non-PPR. Or as good as Kamara was last year, it was only because he was catching like 10 passes. It wasn't because he was ripping off 100-yard games with multiple touchdowns. He was just catching He was only good for people in like PPR leagues. If you were in a non-PPR league, Kamara was not good at all. So I'm more worried about your running backs, unless by standard you mean standard PPR. Then I love this team.
Yeah. Yeah, said standard. I'm assuming non-PPR, but I agree with you. Kamara just takes a hit there. Do not trade for a tight end. I mean, there's going to be tight ends. If it's standard, yeah, just stream tight end. You'll be fine. Just somebody who could score. Maybe Jonnu Smith is out there in waivers. It's possible he wasn't drafted. Noah Fant, Juwan Johnson. Oh, maybe even Zach Ertz. Just go with one of those guys who could score a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, look, even in a 16-teamer, I am not quite as sold on the Jets offense being prolific in the passing game because I'm not as sold on Aaron Rodgers still being that guy. And it's like Garrett Wilson and a bunch of guys, right? It's Garrett Wilson and not much else. So don't love the quarterback. CMC is good. Kamara's okay in this format. Waddle Olave is good. McLaurin's good. Cooper's good. So your strength is your receiver group. Otherwise, it's a little iffy, but just don't trade for a tight end.
No.
All right. And enjoy the game if you do go.
Yes.
Matthew Ryan. I don't know if he wants us to call him Matt Ryan. Prescott, A.J. Brown, Metcalf, Kyron, Harris, Ferguson, Devontae Smith, Cooper Spears, Dowdle, Polk. 12.5. Yahoo gave him a D. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. You got A.J. Brown, Metcalf, Devonta Smith, Cooper. So wide receivers are really good. I mean, this is probably why you got a D, because you got Kyron Williams and then Najee, Dowdle, Spears. So Yahoo's like, your running backs stink. And Yahoo's gonna grade you thinking you need stacked running backs. And then it's gonna be like, you don't have one of the top QBs being drafted. So it's gonna knock you down there. And then it's because, oh, your tight end is Ferguson, knock you down there. Like, so don't worry about what Yahoo is. Yeah, I think it's decent. Your wide receivers are great. RB1 is great. QB and tight end is fine. RB2's definitely could be an issue. But again, if RB2 is your issue, that's not the worst thing. It's a 12-team league. This is still pretty good. I think it's like a solid 8. It's a solid C-. No,
C-?
I'm just kidding. It's an 8.
Wait a minute. That's not how that works. An 8 is definitely like a B. It's like a solid B. Well, maybe B-.
It's a solid D+. You're good. Don't worry about it. No, I'm just kidding. Right. It's an 8. It's an 8.
According to Yahoo, you should just quit and not play fantasy football ever again. No, but don't worry about that. Chris is here for the real questions. Okay. You dropped a super chat. We'll get to this. Opinions on this. Is beer better than milk or coffee?
Well, unfortunately, I can't drink milk too much these days, but I think milk is delicious. I love milk. Coffee, I can do without coffee, so I guess it's better than coffee, but not milk. I like milk.
So is this, I don't know, is this supposed to be like a yes or no question? So is it better? You're going to go.
I think it's supposed to be a yes and yes question. I think it's what is often referred to as a rhetorical question.
Yeah, I don't see a question mark, so I don't know if it needs an answer. This represents the 3 stages of my life. I drink so much milk all throughout my early years. Yeah. And then, of course, college comes and became a beer connoisseur. And now I guzzle coffee and Bang energy like no one's business. But the answer still, it depends. It depends on the beer. That's a trick question. Junior G. Waddle or Godwin?
Oh, man. Who's RW? Have RW? Who is RW?
I'm thinking Rachaad White because he's got maybe $2. He's wondering, does that matter? Have $2?
Oh, maybe.
I don't think so.
I mean, I think I still got to go Waddle here. I do really like Chris Godwin. I think Chris Godwin can boom. But I think Waddle can boom too. So I'm going to go Waddle.
Yeah. Not because of the White thing. It's not a big factor. Waddle's got great upside this week. I mean, every week, but don't worry. He's not injured, don't think. Israel Moreno, Jacobs, Prescott, Ridley, Burrow, Chase, Walker. Oh, okay. This is like an either or. It's standard. Okay, so I guess which side do you prefer? Jacobs, Prescott, Ridley?
Oh, definitely
Burrow, Chase, Walker.
Burrow, Chase, Walker. I honestly prefer Walker to Jacobs. I, of course, prefer Chase to Ridley. And
yeah.
I mean, even if you say Burrow, Dak is close, it doesn't matter. Burrow, Chase, Walker, definitely that side.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy. And like I always get a little nervous with that Burrow Chase stack. Like I said, maybe too much. You know, I just drafted it, but you definitely got to go with that side. I don't know if standard makes a big difference here. And by the way, Tolu O saying, "Don't forget me." I don't think I ever saw your team or your squad. If you want to retype it, then just you don't have to super chat it. Just type it when I see you, because I see you now. We'll put it up there. So just if you can retype whatever your question was, we'll put it up. But next one is Ali. What is up, Ali?
What's up, Ali? This is the mastermind of DraftLane right here.
That's right. Which I guess this is the perfect time to remind everyone, download the DraftLane app, the mastermind right here, and you can see the rankings we talk about. Our rankings are on there. The draft pilot put in some major work. It looks great, and like we had some people saying last night, use it. It worked smoothly, so that's a good thing. I mean, we're really excited just to have this. So huge props to Ali.
Yes.
So we got to get this right for him. But again, check out DraftLane. Free, totally free to download. There's so many things on there. It's not just for drafting. I know the season is about to start. Everything we're doing on here, you can do on there.
Yep.
All right. So the good news for Ali, I think, is he's not going to have Dalvin Cook on his team this year like last year.
Oh, man, I remember that.
Need one running back and one flex. Harris, Ford, Pickens, Godwin, and then the tight end question.
It's PPR, so let's go. I'm going to go Ford at running back and Godwin at flex. And I'm going to go Schultz at tight end. Ford, Godwin, Schultz is my choices.
Yeah, Fant maybe. I mean, there's hope for Fant in this new offense, but let's see exactly how involved he is. I think you're fine with Schultz, especially this week. Stroud's expected to be like the number one quarterback. So go with Schultz.
Where is this coming from? Because they play cover 3 and he torched cover 3, so now everybody's like, oh, he's just going to torch them?
Yeah, well, he put up big games against them last year. So
well, yeah, because they play a lot of cover 3 and he was great against cover 3. So, all right.
Follows. I mean, it's not a slam dunk. Yeah, Pickens Godwin is close. Really, it's close for me. I think, generally I like Pickens slightly better. I think the matchup begs you to consider Godwin, right? PPR. So it is close between those two. And then Harrison Ford, I'm going to go Ford because I still have doubts about Najee. 95. ESPN picks him for 11th. That's not a bad sign for this week. Who to start? 2 receiver, 2 running back in a flex. Got Kupp, Wilson, Rice, London. Okay, got some tough choices already. Achane, Zamir, Brees, Javante, and Ford.
All right, a wide receiver, I'm going Wilson, London. At running back, Achane, Brees.
Brees for sure.
Is it PPR? Did he say if it's PPR? It's ESPN. ESPN defaults to PPR, so I'll assume PPR. So I will go Rice in the flex. So Wilson, London, Brees, Achane, Rice in the flex.
Yeah, I mean, Brees, no doubt. Got to start Achane. Wilson, of course. I thought you might go Cup because you're feeling good about him this week, and he is supposedly healthy too. Don't feel like he might have higher upside than Rice?
Yeah, he might. I do really like Cup, but again, Rice going to be the clear number one for Mahomes.
True. I think, man, I mean, I don't have a lot of Cup, but based on that Lions defense, which was horrible last year in the secondary, I might flex Cup just because I feel so good about Wilson and London already at running back. You have huge upside. ESPN clearly got it wrong. I think they put an extra one in your ranking there, but
I'm okay with Cup over Rice. I'm definitely okay with that.
yeah, and NMB agrees. Got an F for both. Feeling good. Nice. All right, what about Bobby Brook? Welcome back, Bobby. 12-team PPR, Kyler and Rogers, Bijan Cook, James Cook, Javonte, Chase Brown, Ty Chandler, Jordan Mason, got Garrett Wilson, McLaurin, Flowers, Jaden Reed, and Christian Watson with McBride.
All right, Bijan, James Cook, that is really good with Javonte, Chase Brown, Chandler. That's really, really good at running back. Garrett Wilson, McLaurin, Flowers, Reed, Watson. It's good at wide receiver. Got Kyler, got McBride, so you got the elite wide receiver, tight end. In PPR, I'd like the wide receivers to be a little bit better, but certainly not bad at wide receiver at all. I'm going to say 8.5.
I love the Kyler McBride stack. We know this. Bijan and Cook, great. I'm not getting really worried too much about your backup running backs, but I do like Chase Brown there. Wilson, McLaurin, Flowers. Yeah, so I can't see anything not to like about this team. This, to me, is almost, I think I might give this one a 9 because I like it that much. We're going to have to circle back to a couple because some I forgot. So Gabriel from Brazil said he forgot he does have TJ Hawkinson. Parkinson was just like this week's streamer.
Yeah, that's fine. Parkinson's fine. Ertz is fine. Because, again, it's non-PPR. Ertz, hearing a lot of talk that, like, Cliff Kingsbury really wants to use Ertz, especially around in the red zone, which is really annoying. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Hawk's not helping you this week. So, Parkinson's fine. Ertz is fine. Any of those. It's hope and pray tight end, right? You stick him in there. You hope he scores a touchdown. Because if they get you 4 catches for 40 yards, it's 4 points. That's it. You get a little 4 points. Doesn't do anything for you. So stick him in there and hope for the touchdown.
Yeah. And again, Lions defense pretty soft. Why not? Parkinson, sure. I mentioned a few other tight ends already. Ertz is, I think, a pretty sneaky play, though. And of course, Tristram in the chat talking up his Washington connections here, talking up Ben Sinnott, but as a late season play, that also is a good one. I think Ertz is a sneaky early season play. Sinnott might be a good stash. And yeah, they will play 2 tight end sets because who even is the wide receiver 2? Olamide Zaccheaus is now the starter. Luke McCaffrey is like technically a starter. I mean, come on. It's going to be Ertz is like the number 2 target, though. Actually, it's probably going to be just dump off to Eckler. It's going to be the number 2 target.
Oh,
I'm telling you, gonna get you that 6 catch, 31-yard game. That's incoming for Eckler. And then Burn Salad, who did super chat earlier, forgot he had Ingram. So let's look at the squad again. Goff, White, Gibbs, Moore, Harrison, Pittman. Okay, and Ingram. So still, very solid team.
I mean, yeah, I like Ingram a lot. So this just makes your team even better. I mean, Gibbs, Amir White, Gus. That's good. You got DJ Harrison, DJ Moore, Pittman, Zay. That's really good. Goff and Purdy, Ingram. Yeah, very, very. I don't know what grade I gave you last time, but I'm guessing it was a good grade because I like this team. I like it even more with Ingram. So well done.
Exactly. Just got a little bit better. Freehola 33. Jamar Kincaid, Josh Allen. Should I trade Allen for Burrow and Devontae Smith?
I do it. It's not even for the stack. Joe. I don't even care. Like, I'm not doing it so I can get the Burrow, Jamar, Chase stack. I'm doing it because I like Burrow a lot this year, and I get an elite wide receiver without taking a huge hit at QB. Yes, I definitely give me Burrow and Smith all day here.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, not to stack, but it's just a good trade for you. So, love Devontae Smith this year. Telling you, this is it's a good trade for you. So, do it. Keith, still hanging around. Just wrapped up a draft, officially the last draft. Figured this would be a busy night for drafts. All right, so now here's the question: you go Sutton or Gus?
I'm going Gus. Sutton. What are the expectations for Sutton really this year? I mean, he averaged less than 6 targets a game last year. He was living off of touchdowns. Yeah, I just go with Gus. I'm not in on Sutton this year. Go Gus.
Yeah, I'm not in on Denver. On the road in Seattle, Bo Nix's very first start. Yeah, let's just go Gus. I'm feeling Gus anyways. All right. Let's do a couple of quick non-super chats as we're getting very close to being caught up. Here's an easy one. Trone Force, welcome. Would you drop Dalvin Cook? Yes. For Jacoby Myers or Gabe Davis?
I mean, Myers would be my preference, but I'd even drop him for Gabe Davis, to be honest. Dalvin. I mean, yeah, no. Come on, he wasn't what did he even show us last year that gives you hope?
Right.
He was horrible.
Yeah, but he'll be better now that he's a year older. It's
yeah,
that's not how that works for running backs. Go Jacoby Myers here. Matt Maxman, who is in some of our leagues or in-game leagues, wants to know, first of all, earlier he had asked, have we met in real life? Because obviously we're split screen here on very different states. Yes, we have.
Yep.
Do we play golf?
I used to play a ton of golf, and I was actually halfway decent. I would say halfway decent. I was not elite at golf or anything, but I could shoot around par, routinely in the 70s. But it's just so time consuming, and you have to practice. And yeah, I don't anymore these days, but I do still enjoy it. And when I go visit my dad, we always play. I'm not as good as I used to be, but we still go play. But yeah. What about you?
Well, it's been a while, but in my day, I played a ton of mini golf because I'm from South Florida, and we always used to go near around the beach. Not so much in Miami, but we would go visit the other beaches. We had a place on the Gulf Coast. Every weekend as a 10 and 11-year-old, go to the Pirate Golf. So I'm a pretty good putter, and I can get over those little hills, where it's 2 hills. So I have a pretty mean putt in a mini golf course. And then I can play Top Golf. That's pretty fun.
I've come across some random videos on YouTube, but quite possibly the most random video I ever came across was a legit televised with commentary, with not dubbed over commentary, actual live commentary of a mini golf championship. 3 mini golfers playing a skins game. If you don't know what a skins game is, it's a common thing in golf where okay, every hole is worth say $100, and if nobody wins the hole, that money carries over, so now the next hole is worth $200. But this was $5,000 a hole or something, and these guys were insane. It was just one putt every time, one putt. And it was there was a crowd that would fall, a legit audience that was following around. I was this is a thing. This is back in the 80s or something. I know today it seems because you cornhole is on ESPN. Cornhole is on ESPN. Really, cornhole. But this is back in the 80s. So I thought that was pretty funny. But anyways,
yeah,
it was insane. It was insane how good they were too. It was just one putt, over the hill, off the wall, down the thing, in the hole. What?
All right. Well, I wasn't that good, but anyways, that's the answer. And before we go completely off the rails, just want to give I have to give a shout out though. So More often than not, I think I won, but our most loyal viewer, my mom, is probably watching right now because she watches like every single live stream and every single show. She's a really good mini golf player in the day. I don't know how, but it was always me and her, right? It was always like neck and neck. So props to you, Mom.
Shout out Pierre's mom, mini golf extraordinaire.
Yeah. Skyward, 12-man, half PPR, 2 receivers, 2 running backs in a flex. Got Allen, Walker, Kyron. Chase Brown probably is the third.
No, or is that AJ Brown?
No. Well, yeah, now I'm looking at it. Okay, so we're going quarterback, running back. Okay, so probably AJ Brown, Dell, Bowers, Reed, and then on the bench is Sharps, Corum, Bucky, AD, Swift, Worthy, Mike Williams.
I mean, starting lineup is very Walker and Kyron, AJ Brown, Dell, Josh Allen, Jaden Reed is your flex, I assume. No tight end.
Bowers, you got Bowers.
Oh, you got Bowers. You got Bowers, which is like a little risky right now, but could pay off down the stretch.
Yeah.
Bench is okay. I mean, Corum. Well, you got Swift and Worthy on the bench. That's pretty good. Mike Williams. We'll see. Sharps, Corum, fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's pretty good. It's half PPR, so I like that you're really good at running back. Still get a wide receiver. I'm going to say 8.25.
Yeah, I mean, very, very young on the bench, which is fine. Going for upside, shooting for upside there, other than Mike Williams. You could probably move on from him because I don't even know how much he'll play early in the season or be effective. But the starting lineup is good. You know, Dell as your number 2 receiver, or I guess Reed, you know. You do have some risk there towards the bottom of your receiver and, of course, at your tight end. And the bench is also super risky. So I wouldn't be surprised if this team kind of starts out a little bit slow. So you did definitely take some chances here. For that reason, I'll say right now it's a 7.75 until we see one of these guys emerge. And then we go with Grayman Elite. 10-man PPR has Kyler, Brees, K9, Wilson, Evans, McBride, Cup. On the bench is Tank Dell, Najee, McConkey, Kirk, and Jerome Ford.
ESPN ranked 5th. I mean, yeah, this is a very good team, so I actually agree with ESPN here. Brees Walker is great. Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, Cup is very good. McBride, Kyler, man, we see a lot of that McBride-Kyler stack. Tank Dell, Najee, McConkey, Kirk, good bench. It's a 10 team though, so like it's definitely a good team, but it's not like uber stacked. So yeah, rank you 5th. I'll say like an 8.5.
Yeah, exactly. For a 10-teamer, I mean, you should have a really strong lineup like this, but it is really strong. So I think that's good. Of course, I'm all in on that stack. Brees and K9, can't get much better. I mean, Tank is on the bench. Kirk is on the bench. I really like this bench. I don't know. I'll give this like an 8.75. I think this team is definitely much better. Let's now go to Jamie, or Jaime, I should say, probably Terrones Amador Jr. Zamir White or Jerome Ford? I feel like we've had this several times.
Yeah, this is close, but I think I got to give Zamir White against the Chargers. I got to give him the edge this week. Better matchup. I'm going to go Zamir White, but I like them both this week.
Yeah, both are strong RB2 types, but I think they really are going to unleash Zamir White here. Not scared of that Chargers defense. So give the edge to Zamir White. Tyler Durden is back. Flex, Tank, Sutton, or Odunze?
Well, I just got done talking about how I'm not really on Sutton. I do like Odunze, but again, I'm not going to put a rookie wide receiver out there week 1, especially when he's competing with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, and he's also playing with a rookie quarterback. So give me Tank Dell here.
Yeah, we already expressed concerns about Sutton this week. Rome could be fine, but let's wait and go with Tank. We're expecting, of course, a big game from Houston. Again, Not like Tank is completely risk-free, but I definitely feel better about him than these others. Well, just like that, believe it, as we hit the top of the hour, we are finally caught up. All right, and appreciate everybody who's been on, and of course, take Trish's advice and be kind to the like and subscribe buttons.
Yes.
Not that kind, but yes, definitely just click it once, and then you also want to hit notifications if you don't have them already, because we're going live pretty much every night. And I don't just mean this week because, well, it's almost week one. No, we will be on live almost every night throughout the whole season, Friday nights with the exception. So make sure that you not only subscribe, but also have the notifications on and watch the videos, because every day we're having a new video out. Thank you all. We do have, let's see, Ray saying that we missed one. If we did miss you, of course, apologies. I think we got everybody. Ray will go and look, but if you want to just retype it, that might be easier for us to just find it.
Ray who?
Just Ray.
Just Ray?
Oh, well, it wasn't a super chat. That's why we missed it. But
let's give Ray, give him his question.
All right.
Why not?
It's a super flex one. There you go. We don't get too many super flex. And it's a standard. I'm assuming this means non-PPR. Allen, JT, Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith, McBride, and Pickens. So you only got one quarterback?
Yeah, where's your QB2? Don't like that. I like JT and Jacobs. Adams, Smith in standard is fine. Pickens, I think, is great in standard. McBride, but where's that QB2? Like, I don't want to be flexing. Like, Pickens is fine as a flex in super flex, but I'd much rather be flexing like Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, somebody like that.
Somebody. Yeah. So, I don't know. This is almost an incomplete grade if we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're super flexing Pickens, not the worst thing, but really should get you a quarterback. And, of course, we don't know. Oh, well, here we go. Said Richardson.
Oh, well, now that's much better. So you got Richardson and Josh Allen.
Well, that makes a big difference.
All right, your team is great.
Yeah,
your team is stacked.
Yeah, Richardson is his QB2, and then he's got Geno to back him up. All right, much better.
Much better.
Okay, Tolu, type your question out. We are about to end, but type your question out one more time right now. That way we'll answer it. So, because I couldn't find it back there. I don't know if you put it. So Tolu O, give it to us. We also have Sir Boomer. He's got the membership, of course. He's saying Brooks is on the waiver wire and Dowdle is too. So would you drop either Sheed or Lockett for either or both?
I would drop Lockett for him for Brooks. And then if you have an IR spot, you put Brooks in IR and then you go pick up Dowdle.
There you go. You can get both. I mean, that's how it should be. You know, Lockett, it's fine, but he's really more like a bye week fill-in, more like a floor play. He'll have the occasional game, but good luck guessing when it is.
Right.
And he's already banged up, I believe. He's got something going on, but it's JSN is going to emerge. DK is going to go off. Shaheed is the wide receiver too there in New Orleans, for what that's worth.
Yep.
But yeah, you definitely want to stash Brooks. I would say even if you don't have an IR spot, I'm still going to stash Brooks if I can.
Yep.
Okay, where Tolu, we're waiting. Tron Force.
Oh, while we're waiting, we got this one from Teeny Little Super Guy. He's back before 1:30 a.m.
That's good. All right, Sun God, Puka, and then Flex Marvin Harrison Jr. That's good.
Okay, for Pierre, I don't know what he's asking. Asking you something.
I like it. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. This is really good. I don't remember if this is connected to your first question from a couple hours ago, but I honestly don't remember what it is. So. Thanks. Tron, 12-team PPR. Jaden Daniels, Tyreek, Cup, Barkley, Monty, Mostert, and Njoku, JSN, Cousins, Lockett, Komet, Jalen Wright, and a name that really doesn't need to be read.
I mean, do we need to read Dalvin Cook's stats last year, his efficiency or lack thereof? I mean,
not worth it.
There's
overall, besides cutting him, what else? Any way to
definitely
improve?
just drop Dalvin Cook. Let somebody else waste a roster spot on Dalvin Cook, thinking they're pulling a fast one on the league. Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, JSN. I mean, it's PPR. That's it. Those are all your wide receivers. Tyreek, Kupp, and Lockett, JSN and Lockett, who are on the same team. All right. Barkley, Monty, Mostert, Jalen Wright. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Jaden Daniels and Njoku. I'm okay with that. I mean, look, I like JSN. I think Kupp will be okay. He'll be great this week. Of course, I like Tyreek, but this is a 12-team PPR. Like, I need better wide receivers here. Maybe try to package like Monty or Mostert, and I don't even know. Because I don't want to trade JSN because it doesn't really help you. I mean, maybe you could get like, let me see here. You might still be able to get like Monty for Chris Godwin. I think that's actually who I put. Like, if you look at the way they're valued right now, I think I actually put that on tomorrow's video, if I'm not mistaken. Chris Godwin. Yeah, Monty's actually was drafted ahead of Chris Godwin in most leagues. So maybe you could trade Monty for like a Chris Godwin.
That would help because you could roll with Mostert. Monty might want a pretty similar in value.
Right. But you got to improve these wide receivers in a PPR league, I think.
Yeah, like just to be completely honest here, Tron, don't love this squad. Looks like you took some players too early, especially the bench. You didn't. Okay, I mean, fine. You want a second quarterback with Cousins because you got JD. Okay, Lockett, we just said, doesn't even need to be rostered necessarily in 12-teamer commits. Wasn't needed. And of course, Dalvin Cook. So very iffy on the bench there. And then you do have some risk in the starting lineup too. So if I had to grade this, it would be like a 7. Yeah. I don't know, maybe like a 6.5. But you can improve it. So watch the trade videos. It's coming out soon. That will give you some good ideas. Okay. So he did say it was an auction draft. He just put that in there. So that makes things different. You can't just get the typical build, but it's still not my favorite. All right. Looks like we're going to keep going. We've got a few more super chats. By the way, Tolu, type your question again. You don't have to super chat it. Just type in exactly what you want us to answer, and we'll get to it. But let's go next to Rome. Amari or T?
Well, now that it looks like Jamar Chase is going to play, I still like T. Higgins, but I think in this case now I'm going to go Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I like Cooper. He's, I believe, on the booms for wide receiver. You can check that one out. Just came out. I mean, these are both solid picks. Give the edge to Cooper. I think he does have more upside if Chase plays. If Chase, for some reason, gets ruled out, sits out, changes his mind, whatever, I think you'd have to play Higgins if Chase doesn't suit up. We'll have another Higgins. We have a couple of other Higgins questions here. Zymalik. Higgins or Pickens?
I think I'm going to go Higgins this week. I still like Higgins. I still like the matchup. I still like the fact that he has Joe Burrow. Give me Higgins.
Yeah, matchup is better. Go Higgins for this one. And then Elmer Sanchez needs a receiver and a flex. DK, Higgins, Kirk, or Javonte?
I'm going DK and Higgins. I know DK is going to get Pat Surtain, who just got paid today, but I still like DK. I like the way they're going to use him, and I still like Higgins. Kirk is fine. Javonte is fine, but give me DK and Higgins.
Yeah. DK Higgins here. Kirk, not a bad pick, but I think those first two have more upside for sure. So DK and Higgins it is. What about Tyler Durden again? Now this is a rate my team. I thought we were done. We're not done. 1 point PPR, 12 team, 4 flex, and a super flex. Okay, so we've got AR, Chase, Debo, Jaden Reed, Kenneth Walker, James Conner, Evan Ingram, and then here are the flex. Eckler, Swift, Polk, Hollywood, and then Purdy is the super flex. 4 flex spots. That's pretty deep.
All right, so you got Richardson, Purdy. That's fine. Chase, Debo, Jaden Reed, Kenneth Walker, James Conner, Evan Ingram, Eckler, Swift, Polk, Hollywood. So it's just, I'm guessing it's just 4 flex spots. Like not running back, wide receiver plus 4 flex. Because otherwise, there's not enough players here. Unless you're starting Eckler, Swift, Polk, Hollywood. But you're not starting Hollywood this week, so.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm trying to read it. I mean, when you say 4 flex, it means you're starting those 3 receivers, those 2 running backs, tight ends, super flex, and 4 flex, and those are the 4 flex. Because if so, you're in trouble with Hollywood, and I wouldn't start Polk, but I don't know.
I can't imagine that. I think it's Chase, Debo, Jaden Reed. Or I think he's got to choose 4 of maybe Chase, Debo, Jaden Reed, Kenneth Walker, James Conner, with Anthony Richardson and Purdy. I mean, obviously you can't start Hollywood. I mean, I guess you can if you don't have anybody else. He said this is the starting lineup. So you're starting Hollywood? So you're just taking the 0. You're just taking a 0.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have a bench spot. If you have to start all of these players, surely you have somebody on the bench, right? Okay, he said he's starting Komet instead of Hollywood this week, which, I mean, this must be, it's a 12-team league, and I know it's deep, but it's got to be somebody better, right?
Man.
I wouldn't even roster Komet because you have Evan Ingram. You shouldn't need a backup tight end. I would take a chance on some wide receiver flyer, like I don't know why this is the name that popped in my head, like a Marvin Mims, even like you know.
What about Malik Washington of your Dolphins?
Malik Washington, there you go. Braxton Berrios, Tyler Boyd. Okay, maybe Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd, why not?
8 bench spots. Okay, so you got to have somebody who's better, obviously, than Hollywood, but also commit. So yeah. All right.
Wow,
but overall,
that is interesting.
Yeah, this is crazy deep rosters. Interesting. All right. Go back to Mark a word. PPR flex Javonte, Swift, Mostert, Najee, or Odunze.
I think again I'm going Mostert here. I'm just gonna chase that touchdown upside. I mean, Javonte could be better. Maybe Swift is better if he's the guy. But I'm just gonna chase that touchdown upside with Mostert.
Yeah, Swift is interesting this week. I wonder if he really gets a ton of the carries early on, and if game script favors him. But Mostert has more upside, and what do we always say? Go for the upside. So I think I'm going to give the slight edge to Mostert. All right, just because we are, I think, nearing the end. Nick Forbes really wants us to rate his team, and the season's going to start. Richardson, Chase, London, Devontae, Aaron Jones, Stevenson, and Goddard. 12-man PPR.
Chase, London, Devontae is your wide receiver 3 is fine. Aaron Jones, Stevenson at running back is okay. I mean, I'm guessing he went 0-ish RB here. Richardson at QB is good. Goddard at tight end is okay. I'll say 7.75.
Yeah, for 12-man, look, running backs are okay, but again, Well, I mean, your receivers are high-end receivers. I don't know who your bench is, unless your receivers on your bench are ridiculously good and deep. Yeah, still, and you got it at the tight end, so like a 7.5.
All right, I see Tolu. Oh, finally, but it's just his bench. So here's his bench, but I don't see the rest of his lineup yet. I don't know what's going on with Tolu O.
I don't know because we're on the other end of it. Sometimes people say it's like it cuts you off at a certain number of characters. Maybe it's like trying too long, or I don't know.
Maybe. So we got your bench. Put your starting lineup somewhere.
I mean, I'm not rostering Drake May unless it's a super flex league, but
right.
All right. Let's say what's up. Eddie Buzz just jumped in.
What's up, Eddie?
Just had his draft tonight. Here it is. Tua, Gino, Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, to be continued. Garrett Wilson, CD, Neighbors, Ingram, kicker, defense, Palmer, JSN. It's pretty good. About like an 8.
Yeah, let me see. Because, okay, he said it does cut you off. Where was his? Tua, Gino. It's fine in 2 QB, I guess. I don't know if it's a 2 QB league or he just has those 2 QBs. Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, that's very good. Garrett Wilson, CD is what? How'd you do that? I don't know how you did that. With Neighbors as your wide receiver 3, that's really good. Evan Ingram. Yeah, so assuming it's a 1 QB league, I'll say 8.5.
Well, if it is a 2 QB league, that would change things. But if you just have him there just because, then it doesn't make a difference. Then I'd say I'll stick to my 8. Jonathan Parker, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. 10-man PPR auction draft. Thankfully, no kicker, no defense.
Yes, I
just
like
flag.
it.
Got CJ Stroud, Monty Etienne, Kelsey Flowers, Olave, Lamb, and Harris. Advice and rating.
I mean, Lamb, Olave, Flowers, I like those wide receivers. Etienne, Monty, fine at running back. CJ and Kelsey, more than fine. I'm assuming there's a bench somewhere that you just didn't list it because you're like, what else? Whatever. It's a 10-team league. I wouldn't say it's like uber stacked, but it's very good. I'll say 8.25.
Yeah, I mean, good receivers. Not overwhelmingly good for having Monty Etienne in a 10-team league. So it's pretty good. I'd say maybe like an 8. It's still pretty good though. And then, yeah, I still don't see Tolu's starting lineup. So
what are we waiting for on Tolu? He super chatted and we haven't got his question.
I guess, but I don't know. We're good. We're good for now. We're good. Just
Tolu, what's going on?
Well, let's give if it's not the final word, because someone will slide in at the end here. Captain Joe King.
All right.
Dan, thank you. I appreciate that. So let's answer the quick question. Should I start Flowers or McLaurin?
All right. I think we answered this earlier for somebody else. I'm going to give Flowers this slight edge because, again, he's the wide receiver 1 for Lamar. I like McLaurin. I think McLaurin could have a nice game, but also risky with JD. So let's just go Flowers this week.
Agree. Had this a couple times. Like McLaurin's upside. Flowers, I think he has about as much upside. I would say about as much, but also far less risk. All right. Here we go.
All right, Tolu.
Thank you, Tolu. Hanging with us. And then we'll get out of here. 12-team, 1 PPR, super flex, 3 receivers. Okay. Got Mahomes and Love as the super flex. That's good.
Good.
Puka, Smith, Cooper, Kamara, Zamir, Njoku, and Godwin. And then the bench that we already saw.
Yeah, the bench was up there. Here's the bench. Hollywood Chuba. All right, so Drake May does make sense because it is super flex. We did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you obviously went 0 RB here, which I don't mind in a super flex at all. You got 2 very good QBs. You got very, very good wide receivers. Kamara Zamir White is fine at running back for a 0 RB build, especially with Njoku. Look, you waited almost 3 hours to get your question answered, but it might be worth it because I think I'm going to give you a 9 here. This is a really good team.
Yeah, those quarterbacks, great. Herbert as your QB3, May waiting in the wings. And for the way you drafted, which obviously you took those QBs early in this format, and you got Puka, and you got Devontae Smith, Cooper. I mean, these running backs will do just fine with what you got. So, and I like your upside. Again, in Hollywood, kind of stacking there with Mahomes. Very nice. So let's give it a 9. It was worth the wait. I think it was
Worth the wait.
And let's give the final word to William Mills. Thank you to everybody. I'm glad that hopefully this is our goal. Just a reminder, this is why we're on here. I want to help you win.
Yes.
Let's keep doing it. I know we had a lot of champions from last year because we heard it to the end of last year. This is where it starts. Obviously, with the draft, then you don't just draft and set and forget unless you're in the best ball league. You got to stay active. Waiver wire trades. Yeah, we're going to start with the videos for those as well if you want to. We already have trade questions. So don't forget, you can also, besides asking us on here, you can also use the app. It's called DraftLane. Again, big shout out to Ali, the developer, and it's free. Go to the App Store or the Play Store, download it. It's called DraftLane. And then you can see all the features that are on there. We've been talking about it. But again, check it out. It's not just for your draft. It's for all season long. Everything to help you win throughout the season. So definitely worth checking out. All right. Don't forget notifications. We'll be back again very soon.
Wait, we got a couple more.
I knew that would happen. Jason sliding at the end here. Okay. All right. Good question. Where can we purchase endgame merch? Well, we don't have a lot of merch per se, but we do have shirts, obviously, as you can see. Bear clothing. And in fact, I was going to wait till tomorrow because not like I'm a huge Ravens fan, but I do like the Ravens somewhat, and I like it better than the Chiefs. So I had this nice little Ravens color thing. Bear clothing. Here we go. Go to Bear Clothing. You can't even see what that says.
Can't even really see it.
Okay. Well, trust me, it has the Bear Clothing logo there. Bearclothing.org.
Yes.
That's where you can get in-game shirts. So go check it out. Hats. I think we got hats and shirts right now. I think hoodie. I think you can get a hoodie, right?
I think so. I'm going to need a hoodie. It's going to be cold soon. And by cold, I mean like in the 60s.
Don't talk about cold. I hate cold. That's the only thing I don't like about football season is it gets cold. That's the same time of year. But other than that. All right. And then Ramsey Abigail. Murray or Stafford?
I'm going Murray. Give me that rushing upside. I'm not scared of this Bills defense this year. Give me Murray.
Yeah. Big. I mean, look, Stafford could put up big numbers against his former team, but he doesn't have that rushing upside. Murray, this is where it starts for him. Gotta go Murray. Okay. Is that it? I think that's it.
I think we're caught up now.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one.